and thank you for coming to our live Ascension show. Yay! We're going to be talking about some of the things that I didn't get done the last shows. We wanted to talk a little bit more about our clairs, the gifts that we've been taking on with our new Earth Ascension. So we wanted to talk about that today, and we also wanted to I've had a little shift in my consciousness this week, and it's been celestial. So I wanted to practice just a little bit of my gifts and where my teams want me to go. So I'm hoping just to open up to the field and just see what happens. It's going to be along the lines of mediumship. So that's why we wanted to talk about the clairs again. Hello, sweetheart. Oh, hello, hello, hello. And thank you so much. Thank you so much. Happy summer, happy summer, happy summer, happy summer, happy summer. We're so excited. And I wanted to just give you some downloaded notes that I had from the teams, because things have been feeling really different for me. So I know that I kind of hop on things a bit sooner than the rest of the collective, because I'm here to teach about the changes, how to cope with the changes, how to honor the changes, and how to, you know, ride it smooth, smooth it out. And so first of all, we wanted to talk about the sequencing of events. So this is what they were showing me, because there is a cross connect of timelines that's happening. And so this is where there's going to be a sequencing of events. And the sequencing of events are when there is the Divine Father's plan coming into harmony. There has to be in these various timelines, there has to be a shifting out, because remember we talked about energy coming down from above, down from below in the universe, and it goes up and it comes down just like the toroidal. So in every universe is what it looks like, as well as you in the micro macro experience. And so in the pulling out of certain timelines that are not in the median vibration, the core vibration, those timelines that, and those beings in that timeline that are not in that median base rate, they get pulled out and the new energies get pulled in. And so it's constant toroidal. Thank you, Holy Spirit, for protecting all those that are coming to listen to our teachings and to our offerings. We're so excited to have you here. And we're going to do a little bit of a clearing, a cleansing, and grounding, and then we're going to practice our gifts together, because I want this to also be a tutorial. So in every time that you watch our videos, I want everybody to have free practice. And those that would like to send donations, and those that have already sent donations, you know who you are, and I bless you and I honor you so much. And it will be paying it forward when my resources get up and going. So I really thank you and bless you, because I've eaten this summer and because I've eaten this winter because of you. So thank you so much. And so in this toroidal, there's constantly the lower vibrational timelines that are being pulled out and the higher vibrational timelines that come down like this. And so that's no different than what you're being bathed with the heavens, and then you're allowing the energies to come up to pull out all of those lower energies that need to be transmuted. So we'll do a clearing and a cleansing just so we can see that. And we're just showing Interpol that there was a small group of people that signed in all at the same time, Interpol. So Interpol is still watching the IP addresses. There is investigations going on with the hate crimes and with the withholding and sabotaging of my thing. And so the sequencing of events is when these timelines get pulled out, those lower vibrational threads that get pulled out by, you know, the Father and the systems of light. As those vibrations get pulled out, the new energies get bathed from the omnipresence. The new energies get bathed, but there has to be a pulling. Well, when the pulling out goes like this, the timelines go like this. The ones that cannot keep up with the base median, they go down and they get transmuted and they get brought back into the source creator. Source creator is the one that transmutes that and makes it new again. And then it's up to source and the souls to determine where in each one of those souls go. Those that are on the higher vibrating timeline, they're moved into this new shift. And based on what your core vibration is, the highest creative timeline, for instance, what your affirmations are for your timeline, for your reality. Remember, intention, direction, and focus is how you create your reality. So whatever it is your core vibration is for the harmony of you, whatever your core vibration is, will determine what timeline you're on. And that's why we always say when you're living from this heart center, you're always going to be in the highest timeline, and your guides will work that out for you. But there is going to be a cross-connecting timeline. And so I asked my teams, I said, what is that cross-connecting timeline? What does that mean? It means that there's so how I understand it. Because there's infinite timelines that are going on right now based on the collective's consciousness level, what's moving in their hearts and how aware are they, and where is it that they want to move forward in their ascension path. And we all know that those who have been listening to me for quite a while, it's your job to maintain the sovereignty and the commandmentship of your vessel. Who are you, what exists within, what exists in you, and how you're directing it and you're focusing your energy for your highest timeline, because there are timelines that are shifting out. The energies that are moving into the lower universe will be those timelines that cannot keep up with this base median of where planet Earth is at, new Earth star is at. And so those of us that are new creator gods, because we've done this on any different timelines and different planets before, we're here to promote momentum for the planet in giving the planetary, for those that so desire, because it's always free will, for those that so desire, frequency direction, so that we're offering, this is how we create realities, this is how we're moving into multidimensionality of being consciously aware, how to heal and mend your bodies, how to align your bodies, how to align with the highest and the best, and then releasing the old church and state experiences, because the old church and state experiences are 3D and it's going to be off in the lower experiences. So if you want to continue with that, that's up to you. Then that's just where you're going to be if you're choosing to focus on that. And every new ascension cycle, especially for summer. So summer, we're going to see a lot of shifts, as we've told you, because summertime is usually where they have, because we're going to be moving closer to the galactic center, there's going to be a lot more energies that are moving in this toroidal experience to help us maintain this momentum. And so those of us that are given the Father's divine plan, where we're going, what we're doing, why and how we're all here, empowering people to know that your divine soul's blueprint is far more than the church and state have ever taught or told, because they can't. They don't have any alignment with the experiences of the divine Father's plan. They don't align with their higher selves. They don't channel. They don't have that higher alignment experience. That's why they're showing they can only go so high in the consciousness they're at. If they're not aligning, if they're not doing the work and they're not healing, if they're not calling in those soul fragments, the 51% of your own karma every human has to do, every human is responsible for 51% of their karma. So if they're not healing those soul fragments, their consciousness can only go so high. So this is why every ascension cycle, specifically in the summertime, because the energies are so much higher, there has to be a weeding out, because the higher vibrational people that are on the earth and doing the work and doing the job, they can't keep pulling the lower vibrations when they're just playing more and more games and they're doing more and more ethereal battles, if you will, and ethereal attacks, which they said that there has been a lot of ethereal spiritual attacks, because these people that have been relying on some of these people for their light and for their energy, they don't want to let these people go, so they've refused to detach and they've refused to surrender back the energy. And so that's what's happened with my case. The beings that I was here to be a mirror for them, and for them to, I was used as bait, if you will, because a lot of them were my old family. And also it comes to different timelines, as all these people are in different timelines, and these beings and these consciousnesses are in different timelines. And so they refused to see me as a sovereign being. So they were seeing me as that harvesting agent. So they felt as if they had ownership over me, and they kept using and abusing my energy. And so they refuse to let my energy go. And it's also due to the fact that it has to be further investigated on this planet. Those cults and covens that were used as targeting agents and spiritual hitmen and hitwomen, I guess. They were witches and warlocks and warped masons and so on. They were trained to do what they were doing. So there's an organized system, there's an organized experience, which has to be investigated by Interpol, because it is a globalized network. And the globalized network has the church and state that pay the city cults and covens to handle and keep track of those of us that they've wanted to suppress and keep us in systematic abuse and systematic obstruction, systematic suppression, systematic covert abuse. So all of the monies that were meant to be for me to go back into the collective, to go back into God's divine plan, it hasn't come to me. I haven't received a penny from anybody except from my beautiful clients. My three beautiful clients that have been donating to me, and usually one more than the other. And that's okay, because that's where everybody is at. But the people that are doing the investigations need to know that, I don't receive any money from anybody. I have never received any money from any of inheritances. I haven't been advised of any court proceedings. I have not been notified. I don't have notices. I haven't signed anything but my divorce. I'm legally divorced. I've been legally divorced for just over a year. Estranged and separated for about 8 years. I moved from Calgary 6 years ago just because of all the stalking, the spying, and the hacking, and the illegal abuse of my human rights, fraud, theft, defamation, false POAs, false documentation, fabrication of birth information. All of these people continue the crimes against my name and my energy. And so they've been getting away with theft and crime for a really long time, but they've been getting away with it because they've been using the dark occult practices. And they can do the dark occult practices over anybody they want to lure into their little coven to maintain narratives that are not true, to maintain narratives and energies that are not true. And it's done through various of ways, the emotional body and the mental body. And so because these beings are not aligned with spirit, they're aligned with negative energies and entities. Because of how they practice energy, they've allowed certain entities to come into their vessel. And some of them, like my ex, some of them are experiencing the demonic energies that are just taking over their body and eating them from the inside out. So that means they have less and less, they can always have control over their mind, because their mind can always be connected to the higher mind. So this is, again, those that are not really aware, those that are just waking up consciously, it is really important that you, it's always free will, to learn about who you are, what you exist within, and what's going on within you. Those of us that teach it on a multidimensional perspective, in the multidimensional manner, meaning that your chakras, your higher mind, your higher self, your teams that you come with, and your sacred trinity and your soul's blueprint. If there are beings that you go to for spiritual guidance that are not talking about those core things, then, be very aware of the information that you're getting, because it could be sporadic and chippy choppy, and it can be messy because they're not following the core vibration of truly who we are as light beings, the Merkaba, the Christ consciousness. Everything is consciousness, and you will align vibrationally as more you awaken to your consciousness and align from your heart center. And yes, those are airy-fairy things, but there is a tangible process. Understanding energy, and those that do not practice it with honor, those that do not practice it with respect of the universal laws, those that do not practice respect with what we teach, obviously. And we're not saying that our teachings are the best and be all. I've been training with the masters. I train with Lord Sananda. I train with obviously Jesus is my brother. So I train in all of those higher vibrational experiences in the ethers and in the higher realms. As well as, it's part of my job and my role for the systems of light to be which they're going to show me today. They're saying I'm commander, so that's very nice. Thank you, Holy Spirit. I know I've gone through a lot of initiations, and I'm called many things in different realms and different layers of energy that I can relate to, because I can teach and move in whatever layer I'm needed vibrationally. And so I've gone through many initiations. For this planet, I'm known as the Galactic Princess, and the Galactic Princess is because the Earth, obviously there's some people on the line that are very negative, and they're targeting their negative energies at me because they're not feeling insecure of who they are. They're not in love with who they are, and that's okay. I'm their mirror for those projections, and I can send those projections back. And I'm still going to keep teaching the highest holy light for the Holy Christ. And because there does need to be advancement, which I've been saying for quite some time, and why I'm here, is to take the teachings from church and state, which are not going to get you through ascension. They just won't. And it's being shown right now. Every day there's unfoldings of how church and state is not giving you the highest version of your alignment for the highest version alignments of every ascension cycle we're going through. There's going to be new and new omnipresent light. The substrates are going to be bathed so that you're in alignment of where are you going in your ascension, your eternal life path. So there's infinite timelines, and we wanted to talk about that today because there is cross-connecting timelines. So timelines that have not been fully directed by a higher momentum, those of us that are on Creator God status, which means that we're offering energies and we're offering information and we're offering codes into the collective omni substrates for those in the collective to have better ideas and guidance and higher dimensional, higher vibrational guidance of the Divine Father's plan of eternal life. And then there's infinite plans where you can belong to whatever you want. You don't have to align with eternal life. You can go on and create whatever timeline you want. It will be your core vibration. So the higher in consciousness you are, and how do you do that? By integrating light. And it is only by light, because it is only by spirit that your vibration quickens. And so that means transmuting all that is density, all that is the carbon, into the higher vibrational light, which is love and light and peace, and all that is the Divine Father's plan, so that your vessel can be an eternal vessel throughout all creation. So this is the only timeline that we're offered this. This won't be offered again. This is where we've been saying has been very important that everybody understand what is the importance of your soul's progress. What is the importance of your soul's evolution? Because whatever timeline you're moving off into, you have, because if you're a parent and if you have those that you're responsible for in your collective, you've taken that on, that leadership role, they're going to be kind of following, because you've just been given that status. It doesn't mean that you're a leader of them and you're a cult leader of them, because we want to get away from those mindsets. We don't want to have the pulpit up the church person and everybody else following. We want everybody to reclaim their power and be sovereign. So it's a reclaiming of your sovereignty, a reclaiming of your godliness, and I'm teaching you, offering you the systems of light, the Merkaba, the bodies of light, the light body, and how to maintain your sovereignty and move in your highest and your best. But there are those of us that are given, directives of the Father's plan, what we're kind of moving through energetically, so that you can go and do your work, you can go and do your cleansing and your clearing, and you can start directing in your highest commandmentship of where you want to go in your highest timeline. It's up to everybody to develop that themselves. I work with this every day. This is what I do every day. So I am a guide and a teacher and healer at that point for this planet. I'm known as the Galactic Princess. And I'll explain why. The Galactic Princess is that because I work with the systems of light, and I'm on many programs within the multiverse of the systems of light. Part of the future's unfolding for a newer star is for it to be a beautiful developmental planet for the hybrids and the highest crystalline children. And so the crystalline children's and the dynamics of the beings being born on the planet will have the highest potential that they can have, because they haven't had. The history on Earth here has been 3,000 to 5,000 years of complete suppression, misogyny, everything that has been negative, because it's not balanced, it's not healed. The divine masculine is not healed. They haven't done their work, their inner work. They haven't done their reconnection with spirit, and therefore it's a very imbalanced scale. And the number 2 law is balance. So this is where we're in a red flag zone. So we've done as much work as we can to awaken the collective, but the collective is just awakening right now. And the collective is still dealing with so much saturation of 3D beliefs of church and state. So everybody has to do their work and work through their 51% of their karma, which will be the divine feminine wounds, the divine masculine wounds on church and state beliefs. So it's up to you to do that. You're here to look at your beliefs and perspectives every day, because that will raise your vibration, so that every time there is an ascension shift, and these things aren't going to change. What I'm talking about this is the process of ascension for the planet. This is how ascension process goes. It's not going to change whether you choose to believe in it or not. It's not going to change whether you choose to continue to believe in just keep following the herd of the crowd through Epstein Earth. Those are the lower vibrational timelines that are being pulled. This is the process of ascension. And so it doesn't go away. It's not going to go away. It's not going to change. We are informing human collective. This is how the process of ascension works. You can go to the other channels like Daniel Scranton, Lee Carroll, Daryl Anka. They all talk about how to prepare for first protocol, how to prepare for our planet to become higher in unification with our galactic and celestial and universal families. We've been talking about this since the 80s. So human Earth, galactic Earth, Gaia is preparing herself for this next phase of entering into the galactic belly, which is usually the summer months. As we become more closer to the center of the galactic center, we become a lot more celestialized and a lot more galactically activated in our DNA, and I can totally feel it. I've got lots of wonderful celestial and alien energy around me, because that's a part of my soul's plan. That's why I'm called the Galactic Princess. I'm here to create that momentum and that vibrational alignment, because I'm here as a guide for alignment, energy alignment for the Divine Father's plan. So those that so desire, you understand that I teach of the soul's blueprint, which is a sacred trinity. And within that sacred trinity, everybody is responsible. Every human is responsible for 51% of your karma. 51% of your karma is your psyche attributes, your psyche woundings in a divine feminine wounding or a divine masculine wounding. And when you heal and harmonize those, you become activated in your light body. And your light body is what prepares those sheaths that come over top of you. And that's when your higher light beings, like Jesus, he is my light, he is my twin ray, he will, as he's moving in his ascension, he'll place over the sheaths, and as all of my other guides too, because it's not just Jesus, but because I'm working closely with Jesus, and it's the being that most people on the planet know. I have many other guides. Archangel Gabriel is another one of my higher guides, and Lord Metatron is kind of at the highest mother-father level. Thoth, Merlin, my beautiful guide Merlin, and he's been very wonderful. And Isis is another part of my family. She's been a part of my family for quite some time. Celestials of all realms, of all decades through evolution. So I'm connected with the Celestials, and that's why I'm a galactic princess, because I do have a lot of star clusters within my DNA. The momentum of Earth moving forward will be those energies of, I mean, I don't know. I'm just giving you what I'm seeing, because again, only the Divine Father knows the plan, and it's not for us to kind of know moment for moment. But the Divine Father is also happy about really unveiling the Divine Father's plan, as we've talked about those toroidals in the multiverse, right? So at those lower energies that are those lower timelines that cannot keep up with the base medium, again, those ones that have been attacking, refusing to let go of my energies. I'm just giving you this story as an example. Those beings that continue war and human targeting, human hunting, those types of things, because it's such a low degrading energy, they're going to be pulled off and they're going to be moving to the lower universe. And then it's just constant evolution. Every universe has its soul blueprint, right? So we're talking about this universe, and this universe, Gaia is moving up because she's one of the farthest back planets. She's moving up closer to the belly of the galactic center. So that's going to create a lot of momentum. This will maintain the median of this planet in a state where there's going to be a lot of the children and a lot of the species within the galaxy and a lot of species within the collective universe. Because we've gone through so much healing and so much advancement within the universe in and of itself, the galactic and the federations and the systems of light, we want to maintain the evolution of this universe. And that is the key reason why we incarnate. It doesn't matter if we're a hybrid, doesn't matter if we're Pleiadian, doesn't matter if we're Sirian or Arcturian, doesn't matter where our soul aspects go. Our soul is excited to evolve. And so in that evolution, there's going to be those planets within the galaxy that will be specific for assisting the evolutionary process of healing the various species that are coming back into Christ consciousness activation. Because remember, there are a lot of species that have taken themselves out due to the practices of how they've used and abused energy, how they've used and abused planetary resources like the Greys and the Zetas. The light Zetas have gone through a process of hybridization, and there's a lot of children on the planet that are light Zetas because they're recalibrating their species to come back into Christ consciousness, because Christ consciousness is the only way that you can evolve eternally. If you don't choose to do the eternal life, then you will remain in the lower universe, and then that will eventually go into entropy, because it has to die off because there is no crystalline light. And so these are just the processes of evolution. We haven't been taught them because the collective governments have chosen to suppress the information. And my channel is the reason why it hasn't grown for 8 years. I haven't been able to monetize because they've suppressed and shadow banned my accounts, because church and state has been paying YouTube to suppress my channel. The Father said that there was three separate private church and state groups that were paying YouTube to suppress my channel and keep it silent so that I wouldn't be seen and I wouldn't be known. These are the processes of evolution, and I'm just offering the information. It is my job, it is my role, because I love talking about the universe. I love talking about, oh my gosh, here's the Father's plan, right? So I get really excited, introducing the multiverse. As expansive as I can go, that's where that's my high. And so I really I love teaching what I teach. And so in this, it allows us to understand, wow, we're really a part of this beautiful galactic, symphony. And it's up to us to maintain our bodies as the highest light version that we can. So we'll be offering, as we're going to do today, we're going to show you how to clear and cleanse your field, show you how to anchor. We're going to keep talking about the Divine Sacred Heart because it is the center point of the Sacred Trinity. And then we're going to just offer tips and techniques to keep working with your celestial gifts, because we have to maintain, which we're going to talk about, we're going to have to maintain our multidimensional gifts and skills and talents as psychic beings. And it's not evil. Those are old beliefs and old church systems, which doesn't make any sense anyways, because the people that were attacking me, they belonged to these supposed churches, and they were attacking me because I was so different in talking about spirit and God, and I was talking about the evolution of God and the higher vibrations of God and the quantumness of God, which all the other channelers talk about because it is the higher vibrational information. It's not lower vibrational church and state. But these churches and states, because they were so stuck in their old waves of belief systems and they weren't healing, they're very wounded people. In this particular group, they were choosing to do, because they weren't seeing me, die, from their sacrifices and their attacks on me. They were paying people to do, various spiritual hits, and then again, the governments were the ones paying the secret societies to keep me, in obstacles and keep me in sabotage and keep me, going in circles and creating so much work and doing so much work while everybody was living off my energy. And that's what they were told to do. They were directed to do that. So that was a channel from Source. Source gave me last week that the governments, the US and the Canadian governments, had known and were a part of ensuring that the secret societies were directed and told what to do. So this is where Interpol has to come in, and Interpol has to, these are global, organized hate groups that are intentionally swarming light workers and then deconstructing them through dark occult magic and practices. And I've been outlining it very blatantly in all of my blogs and all of my YouTube posts. I outline blatantly how the secret societies do this. And one of them is through the slow dagger systematic abuse, where they slowly deconstruct you bit by bit, mentally, physically, emotionally, spiritually, and sexually. This particular group was using sexual, they were a sex cult. So they were using debaucherous, incestuous sex voodoo and rituals to pull your life force from your sacral energy. And then they would do it in various ways through mental manipulation and emotional manipulation. So these things have to be investigated. We have to have global education. We have to have global light education so people can learn how to look after their energies. People can learn how to look after their chakras to know when they're being abused and harvested and siphoned. There is absolute elites on our planet that have been doing this for a very long time, and they're going to tell me we're going to offer something in a bit. That there are those beings on our planet, the Celestials, there are Zetas and Greys on our planet that are in certain programs and agendas for the governments, and they are being abused by the governments. And so that was a part of my role today too, because I'm an ambassador for all of celestial life, for all of God's divine plan in the systems of light in the universe. So part of me being this galactic princess is to make sure that I'm speaking up for all of those beings that are hybrids, celestials, indigo children, high-functioning children, autistic. We are all high-functioning hybrid children. We're all at a higher vibrational rate of understanding, and we just operate at a higher consciousness. So in this, it's up to us to be that voice of what you're not taught in church and state. You're not taught in the matrix of humanity. You're not taught these things in the matrix. Although it is who we are, it's what we exist with, it's what's going on within us. So in the process of awakening, as we're bathed with light and we're coming into these new ascension cycles, the Father is saying, okay, there's a few really wonderful things that are coming down the road. And the story of New Earth Star is that it's going to be a star of really profound inclusivity of diversity of species for all the species and all of the beings that are coming back into Christ consciousness. So this is why it's really important that we understand Christ consciousness has nothing to do with religion. How we understand our light body, what is going on within us in our light body, how do we get activated? It's a multidimensional activation every time we go through new aspects of light, every time we're calling in light and we're intending to work with light. Remember, as we said in our last video, go back and watch our videos. If you truly want to be on a path of ascension, watch our videos 2 and 3 times and take notes, and then do your own work with your teams. That's what I suggest. That's what I've been doing my whole ascension process, because it's what I do. It's the work that I do with Source. It's your daily understanding so that you're becoming daily harmonized with a greater, deeper relationship with Source Creator, all that is Spirit. So the more in relationship you are with Spirit, the more of a master you're going to be, and a leader, teacher, or healer. Right? Because our New Earth Star is not going to be 3D Earth. New Earth Star is going to be the support system, the support planet that is going to nourish and evolve higher vibrational species. That is the intention for the Father's plan. Of course, there's many more. I'm just giving you as a synopsis because I'm trying to wrap in all of these details in a short period of time because I do get a lot of downloads. I'm trying to get as much in as possible. This is why I talk really fast. So again, you can speak, you get in your system settings on your video, you can turn down the system settings to go slower. So you can always, speed up or slow down the rate. And this is why I always say go listen to the end, because I do offer codes and you want to write things down. We focus on always, who are we? We're all multidimensional beings of carbon and crystalline light. Many of us work at different levels of consciousness activation in our DNA. So every new ascension cycle you're going to be offered depends on how, again, pacing is different for each person. Because some people are just awakening, some people have been on the path for a really long time. So you do get DNA activations, and it's through light. That's the only way your DNA gets activated is through light. And what is light? Working with light, intending with light. And how do you do that? By doing your alchemy. Understanding where you are right now, the divine sacred heart. Anything that you're moving on a karmic pattern right now, which is mostly everybody on our planet, because it's all church and state systems, and they do not allow you to align with higher vibrational wisdoms. I offer high vibrational wisdoms, but they've suppressed me. They've suppressed every one of my channels, and they've had little secret cults and covens ripping my life apart and fabricating my life information and my birth information and sending as many people as they can after me and paying as many people as they can to do death rituals and voodoo rituals, and they're surprised every day that I wake up alive when the Father has said, touch not my anointed, I'm anointed and I'm not going anywhere and you're not going to sacrifice me. And so even if you step towards me, my ancestors and the legions that are working on my behalf, protecting me, because this is my role, this is what I do across the multiverse. And 3D little cults and covens that are organized in hate, they don't have a vibrational chance to do anything to stop my destiny. Because I work on behalf of the multiverse, that is my compass. That's why I've never joined cults or covens. I've never joined anything 3D, because that's not my alignment. My alignment is the multiverse. So I'm not going to be anybody's employee. I'm a creative consultant. You can hire me as a creative consultant for spiritual guidance, for alignment of your company, of your family, of your community experience to 5D alignment. Because there's nobody on the planet that is teaching what I teach. There's nobody on the planet. You'll get those channels that offer vibrations of what ascension is about. Lee Carroll talks a lot about quantum and earth, and a lot of the nodes and nulls on our earth, on how light and the movement of our ascension path is moving with that. And so Lee Carroll does a lot of that quantum, the quantum physics. He does a lot of that. That's what he channels. And Daniel channels, like I do, a lot of the angels and a lot of the species in the galactic. And Daniel just gives collective messages. And it's about how to maintain your vibration and how to maintain your sovereignty as a divine being. So that's what Daniel usually channels. So I go into the process of ascension. I go into the specifics of ascension. Your body as a vessel of light, your connected and your godliness, in the plan of God's divine plan for Earth, for the new Earth star, you get to choose as your independent, as what Father wants. The Mother and the Father want you to reconnect within and say, what is my highest vibrational alignment, Spirit? So this is what your pathwork is every day. What is my highest alignment? I'm just offering you the momentum and the energies that I've been given, because this is the momentum of New Earth Star, because it will be in its future an inclusive mixing plate for the vibrational species that are coming back into Christ consciousness. So there's going to be a lot of beautiful, beautiful energy where Gaia can come back into her own. Gaia's got so many beautiful, lovely codes that we've been giving Gaia, and we've been singing her these codes for eons, because that was part of the Divine Father's plan, to bring up all the ancient experiences of our ancient shamanisms, the original Sirius and Dogons and Pleiadians and all the beautiful species that have been here since day one. And really allow Gaia, as part of the sacred trinity, to come into her own as a hybrid, right? She's a hybrid planet. She was born that way. And so we're coming to this new awakening. I've got goosebumps everywhere. We're coming to this new beautiful awakening. It's like, wow, our planet's going to be this beautiful, this beautiful little basket where the hybrid species children can really feel loved and nourished. And it's been a complete opposite of where she's been, same as the divine feminine. So we're bringing a lot of what's been really needed on our planet to reestablish and re-enhance and reintegrate and heal and bring into balance once again the divine feminine energies and the divine masculines, remembering who they are as a true divine masculine co-creator, which they've forgotten because they've been going through so much wounding, and they've been disconnected from their spirit in the way that they've just been driven to perform, driven to rewards and rewards and awards for performance, rewards and awards for money and direction of power, and the false illusion of power. So the divine masculines have gone through so much, so they're just like overwhelmed right now with all the things that they have to sort out for themselves. Whereas divine feminines, we've been on the path for a while, that was part of the divine father's plan as well. Because the divine feminine's energy, because we're emotionally intuitive, it was up to us to create that momentum for the planet. So we are the ones that are moving forward in this momentum of this new Earth star. What is Gaia in the plan of ascension? Of course, there's many other theories as well, but because this is who I am as a galactic princess, this is my channel, I get to come forward with my energies of my being a source conduit, Those are the energies I'm given for humanity. And I'm given these beautiful, lovely bits of pieces and these little morsels that I get to chew on, because it also helps me align with directing because remember, how do we create reality? Direction, intention, and focus of your energy, right? So it helps me also create that alignment of propulsion so that I'm momentum, because I'm a creator God, and those that work with me in the creator God status, which are more in the ethers right now, that's how they're working with me. We can create those energies based on our own individual awakening of who we are. And that's why we always talk about every one of our videos. Keep creating, the 3 E's, because those 3 E's activate everything that you are as a multiverse being. And because if you're going to be awakening your DNA of your hybrid species, crystalline species, indigo species, whatever it is you're going to be activating in your DNA, it's going to activate whatever aspects of information and gifts that you're here to work with and work on, so that you can anchor into Gaia, New Earth Star, because that's going to be what you're going to be offering to the collective. And so this is just the process of ascension. Remember, it's always a process. The lower vibrations get pulled out. Those timelines get pulled out. Higher vibrational energy gets bathed back in, but it's always top down. Remember, as above, so below, as within, and so without. So as we're emulating these new energies without, because we're remembering who we are as source, we are source from the heavens, we are source from Gaia, and as we're emulating these new unified aspects of who we are as a divine light being, we start harmonizing in greater omnipresent light. Therefore, source offers us new omnipresent substrates. That's the quantum source creator, that's quantum God. Remember, God is life and life is God. So if the life of planet Earth, if the life of your body, if the life of your body is moving up because you're nourishing it more, you're loving it more, you're doing your healing things at night, then God in is equal measure is going to offer you those omnipresent substrates. God will put you in front of people that will help activate you. God will assist you. And that's what those synchronicities are. That's just the quantum return. So whatever you emulate, that quantum return will be in the substrates, whether it's people, places, or things, to assist you in continually moving forward. That's the momentum. And so because I'm a creator God and I'm going to be a leader on New Earth Star, my excitement is to teach about the multiverse, teach about, who are we, what do we exist, and what's going on with us, is the divine's plan for, because I'm a conduit and because I have so many celestial gifts and skills, is to help nourish and uplift and enhance and activate those that have forgotten who they are, those that are coming up from trafficking because they've been so abused as star seeds, humanity and the planet Earth and the lower vibrational timelines that have been abusing children, incestual dark practices of dark occultism, voodooism, and all of those dark practices that have not been aligned in universal laws or anything but what they practice. They haven't been evolving with their higher selves because there's been, again, no global educational format for who are we and what do we exist within. And so all of these 8 billion people on the planet practicing these different things, a lot of them are misinformed and misguided, and they're not being taught or told or shown because the people that are in those cults and groups and practices are benefiting from the people not knowing. So again, who are you? Because if you're not understanding who you are and being aligned with your higher self, you're going to be constantly, in these lower vibrational experiences where people are benefiting from you not evolving. They're benefiting from you not seeking a higher information and higher coded information, higher order. So I am of higher order, which means I walk with Anubis because I am a creator God and because I'm going to be a leader for the planet. I have a full range of things that I have been tested on, I've been trained on, and I'm initiated with the galactic federations, so they also give me initiations in other planets as well, and I do those in dream time and I do those in my higher learning time. I'll give you an experience of what I mean by initiations, because I have been initiated with planetary leaders of the planet. And so just an example of an initiation that they gave me a while ago was they said, okay, Joanna or Celeste, we're going to give you an initiation just to see how we're going to move you up in this next session. What do we need to work on with you? Because that's what the initiations are for. They're not like the cults and covens. The initiations with your higher teams and your higher celestials is to say, where can they add extra energy? Where do they need to help you remove a density? Where can they help you remove a belief or a perspective? Where is it that you're being held back? So that's what the initiations are for. So they put you through a series of tests, whether it's a person, place, or thing before you, and see how you interact with that person, place, or thing vibrationally. Are you aligned and are you managing your emotional body? Because remember, the cults and covens and even the systems of church and state, they have done their abuses through the mental body and the emotional body. The dark occults use vibrational and spiritual attacks, and that is the spiritual body, the causal body. And the causal body has gone through many, many attacks, which affects the lymphatic system. And it affects, because it's always in fight or flight, it's always in stress, which then therefore affects the liver functioning, various organs. And so it's important. Again, who are you? What do you exist? What is going on within you? Everything I teach is a multidimensional experience. And I've been spoon feeding these cities, policing, and various world leaders, and nobody's doing anything. So again, I'm proving over and over and over again that these abhorrent human targeting and human hunger hunting experiences are done, and they're initiated and directed right from the very top. They do not want humanity to be evolved. They do not want humanity to know anything about light, wisdoms, or informations. Otherwise, my channel would have been opened. I would have had people from the governments coming and saying, we want to learn about light systems. We want to be a part of eternal life, which you'd think they want to be. They've been shown in every way, and they're all getting karma. The people at the highest that are choosing to incite and continually incite damage and harm and not be accountable for what they're doing for the agendas of the celestials, the hybrids, the aliens that are on the planet in their programs and agendas that they have been abusing and misusing. And again, there are those sects of people that do not want humanity to awaken because they're benefiting off the energy of their harvesting. They're benefiting monetarily. All the trafficking systems are through those groups. And this is why you're going to see many of the politicians will be pulled out, because many of the politicians are involved in the trafficking. So I've been giving these informations forward to Interpol. It has to be investigated at a global network, and they have to have the people on the right side of justice. We then have to come up with new laws for the help, support, and aid of those that have been attacked brutally by the misinformation and misguidance of dark occult practices. Because if people really knew, some of these people in these cults and groups, they're in too far now. They're already illegal crimes that you can't even count. So they know they're in too far. So they have to decide, are they going to go to the city officials and they're going to say their side of the story, which they have. There's been a lot that have gone forward, and that's why there's already been some arrests. But this is where they're knowing that it's far deeper and wider spread. It's a big network. That there's so many people involved, and how could I have been abused and sabotaged for 50 some odd years, nobody giving me any inclination of my proper birth information, my family information, my inheritance information. I haven't received a dime or a penny from anybody. I haven't signed anything. I haven't been involved in any level of validation and due process. My human rights have been abused on every level, physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, financially. Abusive information on every level. I've been hacked on every level. And it's just like I'm this piece of meat that everybody, church and state, is using and abusing while everybody's living off my money, and they're doing everything they can to keep me suppressed. And so God says, no, that's not my plan. Remember, I give you breath. I allow you to walk forward every day. So you're not the God. You're not the leaders. God is God. And there is a divine plan. So we have to understand the practices on the planet of church and state. And we say church and state because that's just how we've been organized since the day when we were born on the planet. There's been systems of organization on how we navigate and move about life. As we evolve into higher consciousness, these low vibrational rules and the ways that energy and spirit has been practiced have been broken off into hundreds and hundreds of different types of religions and hundreds of different types of practices and hundreds of different types of things, where people have been so ingrained and so entrained in how they receive from spirit. And it's been, again, you're either going to receive from spirit in three ways. You're going to be neutral, negative, or positive. And what people have to heal right now is 51% of their negative practices of spirit. And essentially, that's what I teach. I teach higher light wisdoms. The only way for anybody to transmute density is through light. And what is light? It is love. And what is love? It is life. And what is life? It is God. Source creator, God is life. Is love, is light. There are the negative practices, because you always have to have that dark and that light to understand, well, if I want to be in light, I have to understand what the dark is. So what are some of my negative things going on? What are my triggers? What are the things that I'm moving through? So if you're not doing that daily path work, you cannot move into your light because you're not practicing. You don't care. You're disconnected from spirit. Everything is spirit. We teach you how to reconnect and reharmonize, because that is the light body. When you receive that 51% and you've gone through the alchemy of your 51% of your psyche wounds, you get those sheaths, which keeps activating all those parts of your light body, your Merkaba. Your Merkaba starts spinning in this toroidal, which is equal to the universal energies. But you have to keep up your base minimum. It's up to you. It's your responsibility. I teach you the biophysical. I teach you the omnipresent. I teach you what goes on in your body when you get a light activation. How can you move through and keep your highest health? How can you move through and start commanding lovingly the consciousness of your cells, the consciousness of your body, consciousness of all of your organs and your systems, so that everything is working as a biophysical experience of God creator. That's what I've been teaching. Go back to all my videos, 700 videos. There's nobody that teaches what I teach. Nobody's been given information to teach what I've taught. I teach what I teach is offering for you to go and do your homework, for you to go and do the work, daily path work every day, if you so choose. If you don't, then you can just leave and go on to another channel. That's fine too. It's always free will. I teach for those that want to move through the path of ascension and into eternal life and know yourself as spirit and live as spirit and honor as spirit and work with spirit. Celestials, alien, Gaia, life, all life is spirit. And get yourself out of the boxes of church and state, because they will not show you through ascension, and it's being proven every day. My predictions have been proven every day. Go back to all of the Interpol and all the investigators on the right side of justice. Go back to all of my YouTube posts. Go back to my YouTube posts for the last 4 years. I have spoon-fed Calgary police and Calgary investigations and the governments. Nobody has come forward with arrests, with tangible evidence, with monies coming back to me, with all of the crimes that have been done, which is 17 to 20 some odd crimes now that have been done against me for my entire life, and nobody has done anything. And I'm thanking those in advance for those that are on the right side of justice, that God has given you and placed you with the information, with the evidence, even though there's been so much evidence that's been tampered with and destroyed, because they know they've been doing this for so long. And my ex was just used as a minion. He was just used as a minion by those that were directing, and the witches and the warlocks that were using in the sex rituals. This is where we've also been talking about the understanding of self-pleasuring, the understanding of the importance of your life force, the understanding of who you are in your vessel of Source God Creator. Start looking at it from a higher vibrational dimensional planet of you. You're a planet in and of itself. And if you're not treating yourself with glory, if you're not treating yourself as a God in that way of love and spirit energy, not ego, but spirit, if you're not harmonizing yourself as spirit in your life force, it will be used in degradation ways and incestuous ways and debaucherous ways, which therefore thus then you're going to manifest it in equal return, because that is the omnipresent law, equal return. So if you choose to be debaucherous with your life force, which is what trafficking has been, because the divine masculine collectives have been imbalanced, they've been not healed. And I only say divine masculines, yes, divine feminine has allowed it because we're a collective of one, but 97% of all Earth systems are manifested and organized and managed by divine masculine. And they have been since the beginning of time. And divine feminine have been slowly held out. We have been raped out, we have been kicked out, we have been suppressed out, we have been pushed out, because divine masculines are not healed. And the old version of divine masculine and ego, when it gets fearful, it starts to create domination and control tactics. And that's how it behaves. That's how a divine masculine not healed behaves. They behave from fear. And when you get in fear from a divine masculine's perspective, it's about control and domination. So then they revert to these small cults and covens because they want to feel like they belong. They want to feel powerful. But they're going about it in a warped and distorted way, because that's not true power, because we're not being taught proper light wisdoms on the planet. Again, we're going back to the same message. Again, the infinity, and then what? And then what? And then what? So now all the world leaders are seeing, because they have manifested intentional suppression of light wisdoms, they are in a red emergency state. And they know they are, because they have been told by me. I'm a conduit for Source Creator God, and this is why each and every one of them are getting karma. Their benevolent paths that they've so chosen, if they choose to go benevolent, that will be blocked. Their money will be blocked, their health will be blocked, their families will be blocked, everything that is important to them, their trafficking will be blocked, everything will be blocked until they do and make right. And they've been known this, they've been told this for 3 years. Everybody's had 3 years to do right with me in my particular case, because I'm not the only one. I'm only the voice of those that have been abused. Because nobody has the understanding, nobody has the sights, the insights of the physical, mental, emotional, spiritual, of the collective and of the individuals and of the corruptions that are going on within the collective. I see that. This is part of my role. What's going on with the collective? How do we move beyond it? How do we transcend it? Are there new light systems? How do we transcend it? How do we move beyond? How do we get going? Yes, everything is healable, 100%. But it doesn't do any good when the leaders of the systems and the leaders of the collective and the leaders of all technology and the leaders of the communities and the leaders of policing and the leaders of judicial are all fucked and corrupt. Not all of them, most of them. How did it go how did I go 50 years without anybody catching any of the checks and the balances? How did that occur? The leaders of the governments, they have specific people that watch me, and these people watch me and they spy and they look and they study and they watch, and they have mad scientists that study me. They want my essence. They want this. I'm being watched and studied on every second, and I've been this is where God had me. Make sure that I do my blogs, make sure I do my posting every day. I spoon feed everybody. So why are the checks and the balances never ever been checked and balanced with me? Why have I not received a penny of my inheritances and my wealth transfer? And why is all these wealth transfer going to the little minions of the dark occult practices that are now going insane because their demons are eating them from the inside out? And that's just one cult. I pulled out one cult, which is a very big cult that was connected to all the little threads of this web, of this network of darkness and the black web. Some of them are related, absolutely directly related to trafficking and RICO crimes, black web crimes, where they're bidding and they're betting and they're hunting humans. They're hunting and they're studying star seeds. Which star seeds are they going to take out next? They have people that actually go in and they look at every star seed's Akash, and they peer into the Akash. They're abusing all spiritual laws. They're abusing all spiritual higher order. And this is where I said again, we can eliminate all of these collective problems and these community crimes and these community horrible crimes and these sacrifices that are being done on innocent children and the souls and the lives that are being altered every time these dark occult practices are being done, and people are having spiritual hits put on them every hour. We can eliminate all of this if we just bring higher light wisdom's teachings to the forefront. But the world leaders and those that lead the communities are choosing not to. The ones that have the higher vibrational experiences and they are on the right side of justice, this needs to be investigated at a global level, because I'm giving you and I'm spoon feeding you what's going on in our collective. And we will not move forward in ascension and the humanity collective unless you go specifically and seek those out that are true spiritual guides. And you seek them out and you choose with intention with Mother, Father, God to say, I want my highest intention of eternal life. Therefore, thus then you can step outside of the matrix and you can start aligning with 5D light. And you can start aligning with 5D eternal life. Otherwise, the collective social programs, the church and state programs will not teach you, they will not give you, they will not direct you, they will not guide you. And this is where we're seeing those that are in the secret societies, those are in secret cults and covens, they're not being given because they only have a low consciousness. They're running around in low vibrational karmic patterns. That's why they always keep hitting walls and they keep doing the same thing. They keep paying people for different hits. They keep paying people for different sacrifices. They keep paying for new voodooists. They keep paying for new poison. They keep paying for all these things. They're just going to go around and around and around because the legions have got them all pinned against the wall. They're not getting their soul's lesson. They were supposed to take every tower as a soul lesson. Okay, Spirit says I'm supposed to stop here. Now, what do I need to do to get by? What do I need to do to advance and transcend? Because I don't want to keep going on the same cycle and banging my head. No, you're going to sit down because it's not up to you to control anybody. It's not up to you to play God over anybody's path. No handlers. There will be no more handlers on New Earth Star. That whole word is ridiculous and redundant. It's benign. It's abhorrent. And a lot of the cults and covens, a lot of the Masonic groups and the Eastern Stars and the Eastern 49 Stars, whatever they call themselves. It doesn't matter what they call themselves. It doesn't mean anything because they're low vibrational. They're not keeping up with the median base rate of humanity ascending. Therefore, then, their timeline will be pulled. These cross-connecting timelines that are in vibrational alignment, they're going to come and emerge with this timeline. This timeline is the highest creative timeline for your New Earth Star. Those are the words that I'm given. That's just the intention that I have because I'm a creator. I want to create. I know how humanity, I know how God creates within sound and codes and a light language and those things because I'm a higher vibrational being. And again, I'm not saying this is my earth. I'm not saying that. This is ascension. We have not been taught and told who we are. We have not been told what we exist within. We have not been taught and told what exists within us. So these are the teachings. You have to go and seek it because it has been suppressed. And the more in consciousness that we do awake, the more seeking that you do, the more seeking of your oneness with God, the more seeking of oneness with all of creation, the more seeking of oneness with your planet, the more seeking of oneness with the waters, the more seeking of oneness with nature and animals. That is your godliness, period, point blank. And anybody that teaches anything else, separation, fear, sacrificing people, there is no way on any dimensional level up to 13 dimensions. There is nothing in the 13 dimensional universal guide that would ever say, go sacrifice somebody as a way of advancing and being ranked. There isn't. God has been so graceful giving everybody so much time, and I blatantly spoon feed everybody because they still watch my channel if they can find it. Because at some point my channel will just be so high vibrational they will not be able to find it. And because many of them are going through many mental and emotional disturbances, and their psyches are becoming detached, which is called a psychosis. Because the demons, again, are eating them from the inside out. Why? Because they have denied and they have refused to see their life force and to see themselves as light. They have not asked for light to come in and be used on a daily basis. I want to intend light into my life. I want to intend light into my sexual experiences. Look at yourself sexually every day, physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, and vibrationally. Now, are you honoring your sexual life force? Are you gathering who you are as a sexual being? Are you honoring your body as a beautiful vessel of godliness? Are you using your vessel in godliness? And if not, why not? This is ascension, where you're becoming harmonized with yourself as a soul, not as just the physical body that pays attention to outer and, does all the outer things, but has no soul connection, has no spiritual connection to who you are in the higher self. That's why they can only rotate at certain low vibrational conscious. They're not connected with their higher self. They cannot connect and do those channels with God. They cannot get downloads. None of those people get downloads, even though they've been using and pretending they're me. They've been making money and doing crimes in my name. They've just been using my name and using my work and copying and pasting. These have to be investigated at the highest level because it is a globalized network. And the leaders and the directors of the hits and the payers of the hits and the payers, how those communities get paid for what they do is directed from the top. Church and state. Not all of them, but many of them are. And it has to be pulled out. And these have to be brought forward to the collective. We can only heal and move forward and pull out these matrix, dark energies and black web energies by facing what the wounding has been. And it's been since the Eisenhower days. That is when divine masculine energies were given an opportunity to create the bridge of unity and oneness and fairness and equality. Whether it was a celestial species landing here, as I gave you examples from my story. So we're going to talk about the celestials next. When those alien and celestial beings were brought forward as a part of the divine plan to have communication with the U.S. government, there was meant to be a bridge that was built, and there was caveats and there was contracts that were made for a co-creational contract for the beginning stages of how can we communicate with one another for our working together in this universal galactic ascension. And of course, the U.S. government said, yeah, let's do that. Let's have a communication, because in their minds, all they were thinking about, because there are such low consciousness and because divine masculines don't have a proper understanding of what true power is, they're still looking at it from the lower primordial experiences of power. They didn't have any of their higher consciousness. They weren't working from their heart consciousness. They weren't working from their heart chakras. They're working from the reptilian brain. The reptilian brain is very primordial, power, ego. They're not balanced. They're not healed. Divine masculines have to heal. They have to harmonize their divine feminine energies and activate through their chakra systems. How do they do that? Love and light. Honoring what we teach and what we're offering as light wisdoms. Because that's who you are, you're godly. If you so choose, it's always free will. But know that ascension will continue, timelines will be pulled, and there will be cross-connecting timelines where those energies will come in and we get a new momentum. We're then given new omnipresent energy, the omni-substrates, God, the light from God, the light from the sun, and all that we're doing as a collective, and we're going to feel it. I totally feel it. It's more celestial, if you will. And so all of those energies are just becoming more and more culminated into a happier bedding, a happier soup, a happier salad bowl, if you will, where there's a lot more energy for us to play with, a lot more variety. This is where New Earth star down the road will be that beautiful little bassinet, if you will, for these beautiful hybrid species that are just re-entering back into Christ consciousness. Goosebumps everywhere. The Christ consciousness that allows us to be our highest crystalline energy, our highest crystalline light, our highest crystalline creativity. The crystalline Christ consciousness is the highest creativity we can honor and own in ourselves. So that's why paying attention to your water body, paying attention to your multidimensional systems, paying attention to your gifts, skills, and talents, and practicing it will keep you moving on the 3 E's, the 3 A's. That's essentially how you keep manifesting the base median to keep moving up in your ascension path, right? Who are you? What are you working on right now? What are you excited to create? What are your 3 E's? Your 3 E's should be your excitement every day. Your 3 A's are just, okay, when you do have a problem, when you do have those energies that are coming up as triggers, those energies coming up as emotional breakthroughs, those things where you're on the floor crying, you're in the fetal position, that's the dark night of the soul energies. That's where spirit has been giving you and your higher self has been giving you. Stop. You got to look at this issue. Stop your manifesting pain. Stop your manifesting harm and hurt for others. And if you're not listening to it, you're going to get more and more towers. Therefore, Mother, Father, God, and people like myself will stand before you and we will give you ego deaths. We're not going to let you stand and walk by the truth of what's going on. And I'm going to keep calling the corruption. I'm going to keep calling the crime. That's my job. That's my role. That's where God uses me. I am a vessel that is used as bait for all those that refuse to heal and move into spirit. So therefore, then you're going to go through a lot of ego deaths. That's your choice. Ascension isn't going to stop. The light is going to continue. If you refuse to keep banging your head against the wall because you want to have power and dominance over someone, because you want to dominate them, you want to take them out because you think that that's a practice where you're going to get their gifts and skills and talents and you're going to get their power, you're not. Again, we've explained it a billion times. No person that's working in this type of a mentality, which is very dark and low vibrational, and they're in chaotic psychosis, they don't have the consciousness as somebody that is balanced and one with their higher self. I can give you 100 different ways that it's impossible for it to occur. They've been misguided and mistold and misinformed. So they're creating their demise, whether they go to jail or whether they move themselves out vibrationally. And only God has the finger on that and how they choose to. So these people that are in these cults and covens, especially when they were doing something as dangerous as sex rituals, whoever in their mind thought that group sex rituals, when you don't understand and you're not informed and you're not intelligent and you don't know anything about energy besides dark voodooists and dark witches that have been controlling people in their family, and they've been harvesting energy sexually by incest and by sexual family rape, and the families and the lineages that I called out, that is exactly what they were doing. And they didn't want to get called out for their crimes, and yet they were the ones in the churches saying that they were so righteous, and they were impaling me with sacrificing and hate crime. And as I said in my last video, aren't you the demons in this story? So because I don't want to be incestuous and because I don't want to continue, and I'm calling you out on the incest, and I'm calling you out on your debaucherous experiences, I'm calling you out on your lying, I'm calling you out on your bigotry, I'm calling you out on you can't even tell anybody in your pulpit that you know God, because you don't. You're abusing people. Spiritual abuse, the Akashic abuse, the spiritual orders abuse, spiritual laws abuse, universal laws abuse, human rights abuse. Every law was broken, and the top of the top will be called, and they're going to keep getting blocked. They're going to keep getting sabotaged, because that's what they've been doing with me for 50 years, and I am the voice of all those children that are not being heard. We deserve to be as high functioning. We deserve as to be as geniuses that we are. We deserve to be all that we are as hybrid species of divine indigo, divine. As much as we want to be starseeds, as much as we want to be everything that we can be, because we're meant to evolve. My God, we're not meant to maintain a white-collar criminal status, because that's the barbarianism that's in the collective right now. There's so much corruption at every social level. And everybody just turns a blind eye. If you choose to keep turning a blind eye, it is still your karma. And that's the timeline that you will be on, because you're choosing to be in that vibration. You're choosing to say, it's okay to watch somebody be abused, as they did with me. And I've been very vocal about what's been going on in my life for years now. That was God's plan, because I am used as the karma scales with Anubis on what is truth and what is not truth. I'm showing everybody what is the importance of your soul. Who are you as a spirit? Who are you as a soul? Because when you do pass over, you're going to be asked these very same questions. If you watch somebody be abused, what does that say about you as a soul? If you watch somebody be abused and you're not doing anything about it, and you can do something about it, if you're watching someone being in suffering or your pain and you're being a part of it, and you're inciting violence, you're inciting war, you're inciting the discrepancies, how is that as your soul? So I will place this truth in front of you, and you're not going to get by it. You have to walk through it. And the only way to walk through it is to face it. Going about and being in denial of it and blaming and defaming and then causing all of your crimes to be dumped on the actual victims because you're not going to face anything that you are, which is the sociopathic narcissist, psychopathic narcissist, where they're refusing to look at who they are and what they've done because there's so much damage that they've done. They're not going to come out of their hell that they have made for themselves. And again, we have to look at it. I'm saying one more time for those on the right side of justice, the Interpol. It's highly recommended at this time right now that there be global organizations and investigations going on, because many of these cults and covens were used and they were dealt with and they were offered MK Ultra and Project Stargate mind manipulation, mind scraping, which is what the word source gave me. Mind scraping, where they were given and they were placed in systematic abuse experiences where they're slowly deconstructed physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually so that they can become these human weapons. And the peoples in these cults, some of them, and how they're behaving is exactly, we're showing you exactly what's going on. Again, at what point will humanity leadership wake up? There are dangerous situations in the communities right now because nobody's being taught what's truly going on. And how many lives are the leaders and how many lives of these city officials and the policing that have one or two people in their police precinct that are being paid to look the other way. And they're letting the criminals walk free. Pedophile rings, trafficking rings, RICO rings. Everybody in every city knows what's going on. Are you calling it? Are you logging the stalking? Are you logging the spying? Are you logging what's going on and keep bringing it up until something is done? Because corruption is not how it's meant to be. We're not meant to be conformed to be slaves. This is how humanity is being run right now. It's by slaves. Enslavement. It's total enslavement. And the leadership will take accountability. You're being given karma now. You're going to keep being given karma. You're going to keep being stopped. You're going to keep being sabotaged until you get it. Any leader, any community official, any judge, any lawyer, any voodooist, any practitioner that is not aligning with their higher self and saying, what is in the greater good of my sacred trinity? What's the greater good of the heaven? What are my downloads for the highest light evolution? So I can maintain that I'm doing the highest light thing. I'm doing the highest thing possible for me. I'm doing the highest thing possible for my collective and the planet. If you don't care about the planet, if you don't care about the collective, you're going to be shifted out because you don't have the right to take people with you. If you want to be ego arrogant, if you want to be a bigot, if you want to keep pushing your hate, you're going to be moved out because ascension will not stop because of your ignorance. Period, point blank. And that is my ranking. I'm calling judgment, judgment, judgment. Your religions aren't going to run anybody through ascension. Your bigotry ain't going to run anybody through ascension. I have my right to be who I am, and so do every children on this planet, because they're far beyond you and your bigotry and your hate and your separation and your black web trafficking, because you want to use children as your trafficking agents because you get a little bit more money. Okay, and then what? Why don't we look at the trafficking for a little, and then what? You keep doing the trafficking, you keep paying into the debauchery systems, and then what? You're going to get stopped, you're going to get sabotaged, and all of the legions and all your ancestors are going to stop everything, and you're going to start having karma every day. Karma every day, karma every day, until you what? Until you look at who you are. What do you exist within and what's going on within you? Is trafficking really the highest version of choice for your soul, for the evolution of your soul? What are you insisting and what are you going to impale on your children with that type of karma? If you're allowing the trafficking, if you're paying into it, if you're buying into it, if you're doing bidding, betting, selling, and trading of any human on any level in any way, whether it be an organ, whether it be sex, whether it be child, whether it be child labor, it doesn't matter what it is. I'm calling judgment. It will not continue on this planet. It's a no tolerance. And every coven and every practitioner and everybody that does anything that's infecting intentionally negative and dark occultism, negative and dark rituals, and you're impaling energies on other people, and you don't have a right to affect their soul's destiny. You don't have a right to affect their soul's blueprint. They can reclaim their sovereignty and they can move into eternal life as much as they want in whatever way they want. They have free will and right to ascend. Nobody plays God over any. And I'm teaching people how to reclaim their power. I'm teaching the leaders of the countries and the leaders of the world, wake up. Because you will be moved, leaders. It doesn't matter what you think your ranking is. When you incite anger, when you pay these little minions and when you pay these little secret societies to go and take out the actual leaders of the people, which I am, I'm a true leader. It's not been about my status. I have nothing. I'm not in fancy homes. I don't eat fancy food. I barely eat and I barely sleep. I'm a true leader of the people. Why? Because I want to see the people rise up. I want to see the people reclaim their power. Does any leader today talk about the people of the people? Do the leaders of the people say, I want to give you back your power? No, they don't care. They're talking about nuclear weaponizing. They're talking about weaponizing humans. They're still working in their little trafficking. They're doing tariffs back and forth, and so you can control this and control that. They don't care. It's all about fear, domination, power, and control. Because divine masculines are not healed. They're still thinking power and control is this, this, and this. It's not. It's really not. You're not connected with spirit whatsoever. So then they're going to be shifted out. Because if you're not keeping up with the median, if you're not keeping up with ascension energies, if you're not keeping up with evolving, if you're not keeping up with looking at your beliefs and your attitudes and your perspectives, because it's not a collective experience. You are part of the collective, so therefore, thus then, look at your beliefs and your perspectives if you so choose. If not, then you're going to be on your timeline. Unity consciousness is the way forward. Unity consciousness is everything 5D and above. If you don't care and you want to remain in the lower vibrations, you will be shifted to the lower universes, obviously. And it will eventually be an entropy. Because it can only be that way. If there is no light offered, it cannot survive. It cannot move forward. That's just the quantum truth of what quantumness is. Unity consciousness is harmonization in your highest light through the higher self, through the light body, through the Merkaba, through all that you are, through 13 dimensions in this one universe. Some of us have access to other universes. This is why I'm here to teach and offer. But so far, that's then. Nobody gives a crap. They just want to keep trafficking. They want to keep selling. They want to keep targeting. They want to keep trying to get as much money out of those of us that have light as possible. And it's not okay. It's abuse of every one of my fucking rights. Every one of my fucking rights. It's like I don't have a right to say anything. I don't have a right to do anything. They want to just keep harvesting and stealing and creating me as a slave because they know I can light up a whole city. Well, my light is not meant for you and your corrupt ass group. They just want to keep abusing life force and keep on taking money and raping money and trafficking money. Selfish, 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 go get healed. And we've told you 8 billion times, go get fucking healed. These are the truths of light. And we're reaching points now where it's an emergency state where there's these beings in the collective that are being seen because they're being eaten alive by their demons and their entities, and they're going to be acting out inappropriately. And the leaders and the people of the city, they've been turning a blind eye. They've been knowing what's been going on. They've been following my platform. They've been spoon-fed from day one. There has to be a global organization. What do we do? How do we do it? How do we get the information out to the people so that we can start healing now? So that you're not going to have this happen every other hour. Because when the light hits, and it's going to keep hitting, people are going to keep moving into psychosis if they're not doing their healing and their integration of their soul fragments. That's just how it is. And especially as much of the population that has been involved with such dark occult practices, with such dark coven and Masonic practices that have been misguided, misinformed, and the trafficking situation that is on this earth. These are just, I'm giving you facts. These are the facts. The black web business is $1 billion business. If you have people in every system of church and state that are attacking innocent healers and light workers that are bringing the highest vibrational information for all of humanity to move through ascension in the smoothest possible way, with the least amount of disruption, with the least amount of death, with the least amount of psychosis breaks, with the least amount of problems and resources being spent, we're coming forward with the highest vibrational information directly aligned with the heavens. This is the Father's plan for all humanity. Because we're not going to keep going down in debaucherous ways of Epstein agendas, of MK Ultra agendas, those that were meant to come forward in the 50s, those that were meant to come forward and create bridges of communication, and the divine masculines chose to use it as a power play. We're going to see if we can extract the celestial DNA, the alien DNA. We're going to see if we can make some ultra humans. Okay, so you made one and you end up attacking her and sabotaging her for her whole life. And then you came up with how many fabrication stories? So you made the ultra human and then you abuse them. And then you keep all the information from them. You withhold them. You abuse them mentally. You abuse them psychologically. You abuse them emotionally, spiritually, vibrationally. You put them on these paths where they're meant to deal with the most horrible, dark people, where they're putting hexes and curses on them every day of their life. They have no form of truth. They've been betrayed by everybody that's ever been set up, because it's been the Truman Show. Everybody before me has been a setup. Nobody has come forward in divine benevolence. Nobody's come forward because they care about me, except for my clients that I talk about all the time, because they deserve, and they will be sitting at the table with me, and they will be served in the highest of the highest orders, and they are protected because they gave, and that's all they do, is they give because that's who they are. So I give you blatant proof. I show you the pilfering that goes on my channel. I show you the suppression of my human rights, the abuse of my human rights. I show you this every single day. And I talk about it, and the aligned readers that are on the internet right now, those aligned readers that God gives those messages out that I'm aligned with, and Source says this is an alignment of your story, put it out. And so I share their videos on my web because my platform has been blocked and closed. My platform is not seen. They don't want me to be seen because I am an activator. I'm an activator of truth. I'm an activator of the soul for ascension, for evolution. And they don't want you to know that because they don't want you to be reharmonized back with Source. They want you to be reharmonized so that they can use you and harvest from you. So everybody choose. Religion is not going to teach you about who you are, what you exist with, and what's going on within you as a Merkabah experience of light, Metatronic experience of Christ consciousness. Christ consciousness doesn't have anything to do with religion. It's about who we are as light. Who are you? What do you exist with? What's going on within you? Who are you? I teach that at a multiverse experience so you can activate yourself and get going. Start being the creative genius that you are. Start understanding if you're going to activate, if you're going to act and behave in these lower karmic experiences, that's what you're going to manifest. You're going to manifest direction, intention, and focus. Direction, intention, and focus is going to be karmic, 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 karmic. If you're not getting away from karmic people, if you're not stopping doing karmic things, if you're going to keep doing the low vibrational secret society BS, if you are a leader, a practitioner, and you are interfering with other people's lives, you are karmic. And you will stay in your low vibrational karmic experience, and you're not being activated in your higher self because your higher self is giving you towers. Your higher self is going to be blocking you until you stop doing what you're doing. Or you're going to be shifted out with the Epstein agendas. Unity consciousness is number one law, right use of free will, non-interference. There's a great book out there. Her name is C. Ann. I can't remember her last name. I've given her promotions a couple of times. She's written books. She's channeled 2 lovely books on the right use of free will. Go look it up on Amazon. It's a beautiful book. And she talks about the channeled experiences through the human history where various aspects of right use of free will was not used and it came into tragedy. And the various species of diversity, the various species of celestial and alien, these experiences that she's channeled in these books have never been talked about on planet Earth before. So I highly recommend anybody that is a spiritual inclined person, anybody that wants to be enlightened on any level, in any way, I suggest her books. Her name is C. Ann, C-E-A-N-N. I can't remember her last name. It's called The Right Use of Free Will. They're 2 tiny little books, really quick reads, beautiful reads, talks about the things that have been done, that they're doing now. These little mad scientists that are trying to scrape and clone various aspects of those because they're not understanding. They have low consciousness, and we keep giving them the higher consciousness, but they're not taking it because they still want to run their power programs. They still want to run their ignorant, arrogant program because they're not using their higher mind. They're not using the spiritual mind. They're using their low vibrational ego mind. So Cian talks about various aspects where things were used and abused back then because they thought that if a species was light and if a species was hybrid and a species was celestial and a species was a starseed, that they're going to start scraping all their DNA. They're going to start doing all of these malevolent things and brain chip things and cloning things, thinking that they're going to create an advanced race and use the advanced race for however they want because they're the elites and they get to play God for a little bit. Meanwhile, they go into their church and their pulpit and they say, no, we actually know God better than anybody else and we're going to keep throwing voodoo and magic at you until you believe in our way. Meanwhile, we're going to harvest your energy as we're standing here pretending that we know God. And God has said enough is enough. I'm going to be putting right in front of every single one of you. I will be placed in front of every single one of you that act and behave in these ways, that think that you are the head of a church and that think that you are the head of these places and these spaces that talk about God, that say God, that harmonize God and call in God and be a place of healing for the people. And it absolutely isn't. It's been so corrupt and these people have been so separated from their spirit. They've been doing so many corrupt things and taking money and taking energy and taking spirit from the people. And it's wrong and it's done and it's judgment now. I'm calling it on at every city. I'll go to every city and I'll tell you exactly what's going on in every city. That's my job. I'm a conduit. That's why they keep suppressing me, because they're so happy in their corruption. So again, all they care about is their money. They've been given opportunity after opportunity after opportunity. How important is your soul? Do you care about your next incarnation and what you are manifesting as the fate for your children? Because your lineage is in question right now. You are responsible for what happens next in your lineage because it ain't going to continue in those behaviors. You ain't coming into 5D. You're not coming into my garden. I'm a gatekeeper. Like it or not, that's my role. Take it up with God because there is a God. The mother and the father's plan for humanity, all going forward into 5D. those that so choose. Right use of free will and non-interference is the number one law. Every practitioner, every universal leader, every global leader, every country leader, every person of a business should be operating in that law right now. And if you're not, why not? These are universal laws because we're universal beings. It has to do with your quantum mechanics. As we said, quantum mechanics, universal laws, it kind of means something. Go watch quantum chemistry. Go watch the quantum field, the omnipresent field, the unified theory of one. Again, science has left out the whole concept of God, but that's okay. They'll get there. Source is all life. Life is all source. Source is God. God is source. We are the mother. We are the father. We are godly. We are divine feminine and divine masculine equally. If we are not masculine, if we are not in unified harmony and in unified balance of our divine masculine and divine feminine energies, you will be out of balance. And if you're not harmonizing, if you're not healing your soul integration, you're not healing your wounds, 51% of your karma, you will be out of balance and it will show. You will have a mental breakdown or emotional breakdown or a spiritual breakdown somehow, some way, and your body will start giving out. Why? Because your body cannot survive if it's not balanced. Again, we go back to the universal laws. If you're being left alone and you're being left to your rights of your free will, you get to be your higher self and your teams and all of your healing teams and Mother, Father, Source are there to ignite you and to activate you in a natural flowing of natural order. We talk about natural order all the time. Not with mad scientists mind scraping, not with mad scientists doing DNA splicing, not with mad scientists think they're going to rape all the starseeds, not with mad scientists saying, and all of these elite things and all of these elite people that are harvesting organs and harvesting DNA and cloning DNA and splicing DNA. That is not natural order. It's greed, it's selfishness, and you're going to be pulled out because you're not getting it. All you care about is what you can get, rape, and take. And anybody in those energies, you're on the very dark side of this negative experience. You're going to keep manifesting blockages and towers and blockages and towers and blockages and towers. And you're going to say, why is the world being so mean to me? Well, it's because you've been operating this degradation of Epstein Earth for a very long time. And now it's coming back really quick because our omnipresent is really high. That means the positive energy is really high. So that means it's going to show wherever there's an imbalance. That's just quantum mechanics. Go watch a video. Go get yourself educated. Go get wise. Go get healed. Because church and state ain't going to take you there. And that's why you sit there looking dumbfounded every day. Well, I wasn't taught or told this. Yes, we've been knowing that. So go seek the higher vibrational wisdom and information from those channels like myself that will teach you the all. So that you can not walk around numb and dumb, which is what they wanted for humanity. So that you're herded into whatever cattle arraignment section they want you in, and they can do whatever they want, and you just fall off the cliff with them. Ascension isn't going to stop people. It's going to keep going. We're going to keep moving forward in light. Your choice to awaken, your choice to align, your choice to heal is up to you. It's all up to you. There are those of us on YouTube that show you how to heal. My channel has been suppressed for 8 years, and there will be a criminal court case with YouTube and suppression of my human rights. And I will sue YouTube, and I will not settle. And the monies that will be made from that court case, because we will win, because God doesn't lose. It's been blatant. And everybody has known, and everybody's been turning a blind eye, and the governments and those people in charge have refused to do right. Therefore, thus then, you will continually get karma. You will continually be blocked, just like you've blocked me. And until the teachings are out to the collective en masse, that's what will happen. These are the Divine Father's plans, because you don't have a right to take everybody with you. Humanity has its right to evolve, to understand the truth of light, to understand who they are in creation, to understand they are a universal being, there are universal laws. And then it's up to them to choose with free will once they have the information before them. So they can start transmuting their densities, they can start transmuting the limiting beliefs, and they can start transmuting the separations of discrimination and the false ideologies of power. Because it ain't in sacrificing people, and we've been telling you that for years. And if you keep choosing to do dark occult practices and interfering with people's lives, you choose and you deserve your karma. You just do. You've been told. If greed and money is more important than love and unity, that's your choice. You choose your karma, you choose your reality. It's nobody's fault where you sit. I've been homeless for 5 years. Nobody has done anything to make anything right. So sit where you sit. Those in Calgary, I don't want to hear from you. Take your confessions to the authorities. You will not stand before me. You owe me because you stole. You've been using my work. You've been saying it's your own. You've been using my energy. You've been using my everything. You've been claiming my life as yours. You've swarmed me. You've absolutely taken everything that I have been, and you've falsified stories. You've falsified ID. You've falsified documents, POAs, death certificates. There are so many lies and stories out there. I've been sold on the black web. I've been used. Who's going to put a hit on her now? Who's going to pay to take her out? Who's going to do this? It's been absurd. It's been absolutely obtuse. It's been the most disgusting, horrible things that anybody could go through. You all deserve where you sit. You will all be blocked. You will all be sabotaged equally until I get exactly every penny back that I'm owed. And I get my proper birth documents and an apology letter from the governments that have suppressed me and thought that I'm a little lab rat that you can knock around and send into secret societies for them to handle me and abuse me. And make sure that I never get up and I never receive and I'm never given light and I'm never given love and I'm never given food and I'm never given money and I actually disappear. That was their hope, that I would just disappear because then they would never be called out on their secret society bullshit and their inciting of war bullshit and the Project Stargate. I have information because I'm soul infused. I've healed my soul fragments and God has taken me through the process step by step and I teach it. Nobody on this planet has a right to suppress me. Nobody on the planet has a right to touch my name. Nobody has a right to do anything that they've done to me. There is one person on this planet that has been given authority and permission to assist with and working with my life force. And this person knows who he is. And he's nobody from the past. He's the only person that has been allowed and given authority to self-pleasure with my image and with my energy. That's it. Anybody else that does that is going to get karma because you don't have a right. You've been told 1 billion times. You're not allowed to jack off to me. You're not allowed to sit in front of me in your little Tesla and jack off in front of me. You're not allowed to. That's a crime. Indecent exposure, among other things. I'll wrap circles around each and every one of you in criminal court. I'm going to see you there, YouTube. I'm going to see you there, the governments. I'm going to see you there, everybody. Because I didn't deserve an ounce of the hate and discrimination and defamation and lies and absolute suppression and living in poverty the way that I have lived. And I am only here because of my clients. I'm only here because of the ones that are given to me, and it's a total of 3. Only 3 have given to me. And by the grace of God, my story is and will be proving to everyone. My story will be shown around the world. My story will be known around the world. My story will be known in every corner of this fabric of the world. Why? Because that's God's divine plan. I'm a divine feminine. I am the Messiah. And I'm coming forward as the voice of everybody that's been forgotten, raped, taken, trafficked, sold, bid, and bet against. Divine feminine have no voice in our collective why. Stand up, people. What earth do you want to be on? Children are being sold and trafficked and bid and bet against every day, and they're being poisoned by dark occult practices. What earth are you on? People can learn about God and Source Creator and the Omnipresent. They can learn about our Celestials and they can learn about our alien families because it is who we are. And it's not taught in church and state. Who we are as God doesn't have to be taught through church and state because a lot of them are corrupt and they don't know God at all. They're the ones that are paying to have me taken out. And so again, I guess I say, again, who's the demon in this story? You sit in your church and you sit in your pulpit and you're the one throwing spells, you're the one throwing sacrificing, you're throwing around money to spiritual hitmen in the underground, in the black web, so you can take out a spiritually aligned divine Messiah. You're shaking in your seats because, wow, a divine feminine Messiah. Okay, well, once you get over that bigotry, once you get over that discrimination, how about you get on with healing? This has been going on since 1950, so I want to say a quick few things before I have to go. So these are channels and these are informations that Spirit told me. There's going to be a sequencing of events because it has to do with this crisscrossing of timelines. The lower vibrational timeline is going to be pulled out. There's going to be a cross-sectioning timelines coming in. And it's going to be, these timelines will merge into one. And it's going to be moving in the momentum of this new Earth star, the highest creative timeline, right? For being the bedding and the future momentum of higher vibrational celestial kids like myself. And so that's why there's going to be sequencing of events. And what did they say about sequencing of events that I wrote down? Sequencing of events sometimes happens as you're entering closings of certain timelines and contracts. So there is protocol. Spirit showed me this yesterday. There is certain things that have to happen in certain soul contracts where there does have to be a closing of the conversation and there does have to be a meeting face-to-face in certain karmic contracts. And you will be led by Source Creator. If you are led by Source Creator to go to a certain person or to say to a certain person, I'm sorry, here's the money I owe you. I have to give you a goodwill gesture. I have to give you a goodwill donation. I have to do something. If you're led by Source this way and you've got dreams, you've been given, synchronicities throughout your day, then these are things that have to be done for the timelines to close out. And that is also a part of the sequencing of events. Because those things have to happen for the timelines to be pulled, because your lineage and this lineage are now going in separate directions. Your families and this families are going in separate directions as a part of God's plan. And if, and again, you choose not to do that, and you choose to, again, deny God's will, then again, you're going to be, again, in your own demise. Because these are just the divine spiritual order laws. I'm giving you a spiritual order. This is higher spiritual order. There are those that are guided in my situation because of my ranking, because of my position, because of my unconditional love and gifting to humanity, because of this is just who I am as a divine gift for humanity. There are those that are guided to make certain closures on my behalf because you're going to be moving in a different direction and you do need to make right. Because I've been in poverty for 6 years that was unnecessary, and I've been given hexes and curses for 50 years that wasn't necessary. I've been psychologically, mentally, and emotionally and spiritually abused since the day I got here. And you all know who you are. You all know what you've done. All of you have known what you've done. 50 to 112 people have been involved in the fabrication of information, the fabrication of evidence, the fabrication of tampering, the falsified lies and stories and claims, anything that has had my name on it since the beginning of my birth. Everybody knows what they've done. Everybody knows who they are. You all know that you took money to take me out. You all know that you took money to make my life difficult. You all know you took money because it's my money. It's not yours. You didn't have a right. That money was supposed to be used for the collective healing, for the collective unification, for the collective creative systems. That money was given to me because I'm a great leader. I know how to use it. I had initiations. I've been initiated from time one. So there are sequencing events that is protocol. Sometimes if you say to source, do I have to have that conversation? It's been closed off for years. I don't understand why I have to meet with them again. And your spirit guides will say, yes, you have to have that conversation. That is something you cannot get out of. That is a part of your spiritual contract for you to move forward. For them to move forward. For the karma to be cleared and for those contracts to be closed, for the lineages to be cut. There is protocol. That is spiritual higher order. So everybody has to go within. Again, work with your higher self, because your higher self will tell you. Your higher self is going to guide you to exactly what needs to happen. Follow your spiritual guidance. Heed your spiritual guidance every day. Your spiritual guidance is your higher self. Your higher self will never lead you astray. Your higher self is here to teach you spiritual protocol. And I offer that to you in human words because some people are not connected to their higher self. There is spiritual order. There is spiritual higher protocol. If you so choose. If you don't, then it will be moved out and you're going to be facing the same karma and the same demise you're facing right now, which is, I wouldn't wish it on anybody. So there is spiritual protocol in that way. The sequencing of events is that, whereas God and your teams will line something up so you're going to be in front of somebody that needs to give you closure and you need to give them closure. You each say sorry for the part you played. You each say sorry for the harm that you've done and you go your separate ways. And it has to be pure of intent. It has to be heartfelt. If it's not heartfelt, then you're still going to carry that residue. You have to, again, it's all about your divine sacred heart. That's unity consciousness, showing that, yes, I was a part of you, you were a part of me, we're here to teach each other lessons. You're the divine masculine energy, I'm the divine feminine energy, we're meant to teach each other lessons and to evolve. And if you can't face your doings, then that's part of your evolution. Get over it. Because masters face what they've done. Masters get over it. Because they know I'm going to be able to teach this to other people. Why do you think I've been initiated? So I'm going to give you this initiation that they gave me just because there was people that were asking, what does initiation at my status in my ranking look like? They gave me one morning, they said, okay, Joanna, Celeste, we're going to give you an initiation. And they don't tell you exactly what it's going to look like. In the initiations in this matter where I'm in a human body, I'm not, again, I'm suppressed in the collective. I don't have any ranking in the collective from the 3D perspective, if you will. Even though, again, nobody from the collective, from the government or anybody that's been involved in any of this, nobody has ever sat in front of me and had coffee with me and talked with me about who I am. They've just gone about their sabotaging systematic abuse programs. Totally detached. We're going to target her. We're going to do this to her. This is her outcome. She doesn't have any say about it. I've not been in any court. I've not been given any information. I've not seen one piece of information. I've not seen anything with anything. My signature has not been verified. There's been no due process. I've worked for the government. I actually worked for the public trustee's office in Vancouver. I know what I'm doing. I know my rights. I know what goes on for a power of attorney of those types of things, physically, mentally. I kind of know what I'm doing. I've been a leader in banks. I've been a leader in government companies. So anyways, so my teams will say, okay, we're going to give you an initiation. And I said, okay. At this point, I didn't understand why I was given an initiation. I said, Dad, didn't I just do an initiation yesterday? Like, what are we doing all this initiation for? You know, and I understand that I had a big part to play in the collective. I didn't realize how big it was, though. And so they said, okay, well, this is how it's going to go. Just act as you would normally act, as if this was a real experience. They call it an assimilation. That's what they call initiation. It's called an assimilation because they run it through your multidimensional systems as if it's a real experience. So this is how it felt for me. So then I said, okay, well, when you just tell me, they'll say it will happen between now and tomorrow. And I say, okay. So I go to sleep, and then within an hour, I had the assimilation. So the assimilation is just it's like they put a sheath. I call them sheaths because that's how it looks and feels to me. It's a sheath of experience that comes in, and for physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, and vibrationally, this sheath is your reality. So it's like an assimilation. It's like a chamber of experience. They're actual chambers like that, and you can practice in them in your higher states. They're called chambers of light. And you can practice being certain experiences so that you can unfold and practice your gifts, your skills, your talents, and what would you do in this situation so that nobody's really harmed? You're doing it to better your skills and to better those situations where you really need to understand what's going on at that, in those moments of, oh my God, what's going on? And so they put me through this assimilation. And so I could hear them talk to me. So I kind of knew this was the assimilation, but I wasn't. Sometimes when they talk to me, sometimes they're telling me about something that's going to unfold. And this is where I come out and I say it's a source channel, because that's when they tell me, like the salmonella in California, there's going to be a salmonella breakout in California through eggs. And so I put that in my channel. So it's up to people to read my channel if they want the source information or not. It's up to them, right? Or they can go through their higher self. But I just put it out because that's just general information, because I'm a conduit for the collective. And so sometimes when they talk to me, I said, okay, is that a source channel or what are we doing here? But they didn't tell me. So I just said, okay. They said, okay, this is the situation that's coming up. I didn't know whether it was real, whether it was not going to be real, whether it's a future prediction or whether it was a past prediction or whether it was another timeline. I didn't know that. They don't tell me that. It's just an assimilation. So I have to act as if it's real. So I said, okay, this is what I would do. And I immediately, and as a conduit, I see things come like this, and then I go this, and this, and this, because that's vibration. I see if this is what's happening, and I see the multidimensional layering. The multidimensional layering, and then my teams see what I see because they're higher vibrational, and they see what I see because we're all on that same. We don't have a word to say what I'm seeing. The thing I can think of close is, in the movie Iron Man, when he has the screens up on the wall and he can see, he punches one on the wall and he can see that different layering. It kind of looks like that. So in this different layering, I saw the situation that had happened. They had given me the situation. It was one situation. How would I deal with it? What would happen? And what were my actions? What were my steps as being leader? And so I went through this transaction with them. But I didn't know if it was a future experience or me on another planet or me on another timeline, because I go through it as if it's real, because I don't want to take the chance of figuring out later what it was, right? Ask questions later. Be a leader now, ask questions later kind of thing with my teams. And so in that respect, I went through the process, and it seemed like 5 minutes because it was a higher consciousness state. I don't know how long it was because I didn't look at the clock. I don't look at clocks or times or anything. And so it seemed as if it was about 5 minutes, but it was very real. Like my heart rate went up. I was experiencing the energy of those that were involved because it was a collective assimilation. So I had to be infused into the community experience. I had to be infused of what would happen, right? And so I had to feel their energies. I had to know, how was I going to manage the energies of others around me? Was I going to be calm? Was I going to ground? Was I going to have directive? How was I going to, appropriate order from the highest realms if something should happen? And so they gave me that as an initiation. That's the initiation that Spirit gives you. Spirit gives you the initiation so you can practice being a better leader. They don't give you initiations to go out and hurt people. They don't give you initiations to go and poison people. They don't give you initiations to go and humiliate somebody. Spirit would never do that. So you just know where people are operating from when they do initiations. If your initiation is not to allow you to be a better leader and to be loving and unified in all life and all people before you, it's not an initiation, and don't do any initiation if it's not Spirit. And I say Spirit, your higher self, and your teams. Your teams are the only ones that should ever initiate you, period. Don't do any human initiation. It doesn't mean anything because they're lower vibrational. They're in separation. They're in subterfuge. It's darkness. It's darkness. Most initiations are not initiating you unless it's like a medical initiation where you're actually having to prove your technical medical skills. But in that assimilation, I had to act as if I was a leader of a collective. And I was put through an emergency situation. What would I do and how would I do it? And so they came on, and I'm shown these layers of what's going on. And then immediately my multidimensional self goes in here, here, and here, and there. This is what I would do, because that's just how I operate in my systems. This is my systems. I'm telling you about my systems and how I operate in my systems. The teams on their end, they analyze how fast I was at making the decision, how much did I connect on the points of the reference, how did I respond, how are my system, they have the analytics on my multidimensional body, how was my heart rate, was I grounded, was I operating from a higher perspective, the higher self perspective, was I operating from ego or fear? If you're operating from ego and fear, you're never going to make a good leadership decision. You just won't. That's why I have vocational alignment sessions. If you want your company to align with 5D, if you want to be a higher 5D manager or a leader, have those sessions. Because I'm teaching you how to work through and heal all of those soul fragments so that you do not operate from choosing from a wounded ego perspective. You're choosing from your higher self perspective because it makes you a better leader. It makes you Commander Ashtar, right? That's my intention. I want to be a better leader like Commander Ashtar. And so they said to me very quickly, they looked at their results and their analytics, and they said, okay, Joanna, you passed. You did a great job. And I said, okay, wow. And I was sweating, right? Because it's as if it was happening. And I said, was that a real experience? They said, no, it was just an assimilation. So they told me after the fact. So I said, well, thank God, right? And they said, you did very well. You approached they gave me a review, like I'm in a review. I'm in I was going through like like you go through a job. It was like your review period. And they said, you did this, you did that, you did this, you did that. And I said, okay, great. And so it also gives me better confidence in my leadership skills. So if something like that did happen, and it was an outbreak type of experience. So if there was an outbreak, what would you do? An outbreak can be anything, So I said, okay, well, is this happening? Where is it happening? And so this is where when I'm a conduit and I have to look at the sheaths, I look at where is the outbreak and what is it? Where is it and where is the logistics? I look at the logistics because I have that perspective. I have that autonomy to do that. That's my gift. And so as a leader, this is what I do. And this is where I've been on my YouTube, I've been promoting. I've been spoon feeding the collective leaders and the community leaders and the policing and the right side of justice and the Interpol. I've been giving everybody, and I've been giving the cults and covens and the practitioners. I've been saying, this is what's going to happen if you keep doing what you're doing. And now we're at that emergency state. So again, Spirit is preparing me, and I'm giving as many examples and informations from my perspective as a seer, as a conduit. Father and Mother are preparing each and every one of us to be better leaders, teachers, and healers, and practitioners, and people in the community that are truly ambassadors of love and care and unity. Because we are going to have to practice our telepathic gifts, because a lot of the beings that are going to be coming up from the ones that there are some beings that are going to be in our care that will be placed with those of us that are initiated and trained to deal with those that have been abused in the systems of the government. Because they're going through psychosis. These high vibrational beings like the light grays and the light zetas are going through psychosis because they're highly telepathic. They don't use words like we do. So they're going through psychosis right now because they have been abused in these systems of however the governments have been using them, which has not been benevolent. And the government is given spoon-fed opportunities to do the right thing, but they don't want to be accountable for what they've been doing. So they've been allowing these beautiful high vibrational beings that were meant to come as prelude to first contact and prelude to building bridges of unity consciousness, for prelude for being inclusivity. But again, church and state has been stuck in pulls up their butts of being just church and state. And they don't want to evolve beyond unity consciousness into 5D up to 13th dimension, which is unity consciousness. How do we create unity consciousness with everything? Well, if they're impaling and if they're denying divine feminine of her rights, what are they going to do to a celestial? And they're showing us. So there will be those celestials, the light gretas, light zays, the aliens that will have to be healed, along with the children coming up from trafficking. So I'm one of the beings that can see that out of perspective where it's at a higher scope, so I'm seeing it from the higher point perspective, where do we need these touch points? How do we need to offer healings and wisdoms and informations? And where do we start? Where do we begin? Where are the resources that we can pull from to start these healing perspectives? And because nobody should be abused because of arrogance and idiocy, because they want to have private agendas to weaponize humans and to weaponize and to start scraping DNA from beings and aliens that are meant to come as purveyors of expansiveness with us, and to honor and have their rights respected physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, and whoever they are in their bodies. And they've been abused, because I gave an example of when I was abused in the 50s from the Project Stargate. And I was here as an Arcturian and my DNA was spliced. But it's in my DNA right now, so I mean, God always makes it that way. So, it was my DNA from that time that Eisenhower chose to breach the contract with the Celestials. So the Galactic Federation's told me there's a video I put out a while ago where the Galactic Federation said that, because the governments had done this a couple of times, that the Galactic Federations were only going to move forward if they were going to do it through somebody like myself. And this is why I had to go through so many initiations of not being mentally brainwashed, not going over to the lower vibrational cults and covens, because I have to work on behalf of the heavens. That's my hierarchy. My hierarchy is not humanity. It never has been. That's why they were unable to sacrifice me 1 billion times. Not 1 billion, about 1,600. They're not going to sacrifice me. They're not going to rip my brain apart. They're not going to take me away from source. They're not going to take me off plan. They're not going to take me off path. They're not going to take me off my destiny. They're not going to destiny swap with. They're not going to do anything with me. That's been proven. And the more that they try, the more karma they're going to get. My compass and my jurisdiction is the heavens. I work on behalf of the systems of light, galactic federations, Mother, Father, God. I'm a conduit for the Divine Father's plan. I am here to assist as the galactic princess because I am an ambassador of all life. I teach and offer and honor these systems of ascension for all of the multiverse. And the multiverse is the multiverse. It's all species. So if we are denying and discriminating Divine Feminine and the children, the Divine Feminine and the children on this planet are treated horribly. Animals are treated horribly. Humanity has a lot of healing to do. Ascension will not stop. Everybody must look at themselves. It is a serious question at this point. How important is your soul's progression? How important is your soul's evolution? Do you care about your next incarnation? And it is free will that you ask yourself this every day. You will not be given a free ticket. You will not be given a free ride. You will not be given a free passing of the gates. And that is how it goes. That is just the laws of ascension. That is higher order. And it's up to you to discern what feels good, what feels great. How can I take my power back? How can I reclaim my power? How can I be sovereign? How can I understand that I am here to create my best life? It's up to me. I'm creating my reality. And stop waiting for other people to save you, because they won't. They won't. This is the gift. No, you get to reclaim your power. You get to claim yourself as a Christed being. That's powerful. You get to remember who you are in all your lifetimes, and then you get to be this soul-infused experience of this divine experience, right? You want to be this soul-infused being so that you can remember your lifetimes and bring them forward as beautiful stories. So I just gave that as an example of that. That's what my teams do as an initiation. That's what they do. They give me these experiences, and I don't know if it's going to, because when they tell me these things, sometimes they are predictions. So I say, is that a prediction you want me to pass on to the collective? And they'll say, yes, pass it on. And sometimes it's just, that's what they say, because that's where they want that information out. Or it's just for me to work through the energy so that they can determine where I'm at. What do I need help with? How do I need to expand in whatever situation? Right? So again, my initiations are at a different level. My initiations are at a different concept. My initiations are collective. My initiations are because I'm also part of the multiverse. So my initiations have to do with the multiverse. In that initiation of that assimilation, one of my things that I look at from a higher perspective is the hybrids and the children. And then I go to the planet, because that's what I'm trained in. So this is what I offer to all of you, if you so desire. It's up to you. This is being a higher vibrational being, where you're just naturally thinking of, and you act and you behave in those higher vibrational integrous ways. It's integrity. Again, I don't get paid for all of these things that I put out, and it's thousands of dollars every month that I put out into free teachings of light wisdom, because humanity is being suppressed. So please share my videos. Those of you that would like a healing session, a channeled session, activation session, vocational alignment session, there are 4 sessions for, I think, 45 minutes, and it's $550 US. A session is 90 minutes, it's $250 US, and those are for going through where are you at right now, what blocks and hurdles are you working on, and then how to transcend them and how to transmute them. And we teach you how to work with the 3 A's and the 3 E's of evolution. Again, how important is your soul's evolution? That's what I teach, that's what I offer through the Christ consciousness, so you understand all that you are is light, all that you are is a multiverse being, all that you are is a universal being, and then you can start working in your everyday, so you start maximizing and living as this higher vibrational being that you are, you've always been. There are those of us that have been on the path for a very long time that are going to be moving into leadership roles in teaching, healing, and co-creating timelines. So this is part of my role too, as I'm a co-creator, I'm a creator God. So I have to explain sometimes in those ways. I implore everybody that is a teacher, healer, leader, creative, artist, anybody that's in the higher creative arts, because that's where New Earth Star is going to be. It's going to be a creative earth, because that's how the hybrid children are nourished. Hybrid children are nourished through their creativity, the 3 E's, and through song and sound, because it's all vibrational, right? It's all about the harmonics. Everything is a harmonic sound in creation. It's harmonic sound first. And so in that, it's a whole bunch of new vibrational categories and new spanning out with inventiveness, sound and healing and creative arts. Education systems are going to go in a whole different area, so that we're going to meet the needs and the what's really needed for the children nowadays, because their needs are not being met. Obviously, we all know that. We knew that when I was going to school as an indigo kid, right? The needs weren't being met, for what we needed. We weren't being met in any way with our gifts, our skills and our talents and our genius. Emotional intelligence, understanding emotional intelligence, how that works and how that operates. Many of you are working on various aspects of multidimensionality, but you're not being taught or told or shown, and it can cause some confusion, and sometimes it can feel as if you're going insane if it's bipolar or sometimes it's because we don't have words, because people don't teach it, it's not out in the normal collective social arena. Schizophrenia, that is just a way of being able to understand your arenas of what you can tap into vibrationally and being able to hone so that you have this one point of focus, but you can also see the other energies or other personality aspects. I also offered to all of you that choose to look at schizophrenia, personality disorders, and the psychosis, when it's gay, if it's a gay situation, trans, although she doesn't talk about trans back then, is Jane. What was her name? Jane, the ones from channeling. I mentioned it a few times in my videos. Jane. She was one of the original ones that did the channeling, Jane. She's got a couple of really good books about the understanding of the psyche and how when it's going through a fear and it's not being healed, the psyche will automatically refer back to its last personality, where it took on its more dominant, primordial, safe, egocentric experience where it felt safe. It wasn't necessarily in today's day and age of being 5D omni-light. Those primordial, egocentric experiences are not going to keep you safe. They will keep you moving back in a demise. So we just have to understand that. I'm just giving that to you as an example. Again, it has to do with divine masculines, misrepresentation, misinformation, misguidances on true power. So for them to come back into alignment of what really is power, it's reclaiming who you are as a whole being. As divine feminine, divine masculines, you can move back and forth to whatever energy that you need. Again, when you're put through these assimilations and initiations, you're going to have to do what I just said. I gave you that example. And say, what part of this assimilation do I have to use my divine feminine, my divine masculine energies, and then come through for what is my decision right now and how are we going to move forward? The leaders of the countries and the leaders of the peoples right now should be doing that. They should be taking what is the highest representation of the higher and greater good for my land and my people. And it should be aligned with the higher self. The higher self should be the first point of contact. If the higher self is not the first point of contact, teacher, healer, leader, practitioner, voodooist, whatever you're doing, if your higher self is not your first point of contact, then it is not in the greater good. Period, point blank. You're working from entity attachment. You're working from behaviors and patterns. You're working from karmic energies and karmic Karmic patterns, they're sheaths of density that sit over you. And until you clear those densities through light and love and self-care and compassion and forgiveness, and you're doing your alchemy, you're doing your 3 A's. If you're not doing your 3 A's, you're not working through that density. So you have to come to a new vibrational definition. Well, who are you now? Well, I can work through that density. I know I work through that. So we show you how to work through all of the things that you're being triggered on, because some of you are meant to evolve and transcend so that you can teach things down the road in different ways that are higher vibrational, that are higher aligned, that are higher evolutionary, right? You don't want to stay a practitioner doing the same spells. Why would you do that? Spell work is not where we're going down the road. Spell work is not a 5D thing. 5D is just manifesting from conscious thought. You don't have to do spells. Spell work was just meant to be a temporary thing where you're just offering sacred play with the elementals and the Gaia energy. It was never meant to be used the way it's being abused right now on the planet. Period. It's been completely abusive on the planet because people are using it as an ego because they're wounded. They use those things to get, to take, to have, to feel more powerful, to feel important, to feel this, to feel that. It's wounding. So they look for replacements. Again, before you reach out, go within. Heal your wounds so they don't become another's. It's no different than any other addiction. Spell work is an addiction. People are using spell work like an addiction, and it's not okay. Gaia will start to come involved. Your ancestors will start to bring towers until everybody gets it. You do not get to abuse energy, especially spiritual energy, especially Gaia energy, and especially your sexual energy. So if you're doing these things, I would highly recommend that you stop and you actually go within and you get connected with your higher self, because your higher self would never ever guide you to do those things. Your higher self would never say, join a sex cult. You join a sex cult because you're not connected with your higher self, you don't know who you are, and you're looking for something to feed those wounds within you. You're not healing yourself. You're not being accountable. So heal yourself. Your higher self would never ever tell you to go do blood work and blood rituals and jar work on freezer spells and glamour spells on somebody because you don't like how they think about God and they speak about God and they have their own personality and they come forward in the beauty and the confidence of who they are because they're aligned and you're not. And they're giving you an opportunity to see what being aligned looks like. I gave a beautiful video this week of Shawn Mendes, and he's got this new beautiful album, and he is one of the ones that we talked about last time where it's going to be aligned your chakra. When you are creating from your chakra alignment, and you're creating from that space where you've done a bit of spiritual awakening and you are actually on stage doing what you're doing because you love to do what you do because that's who you are, that is spiritual alignment. That is chakra alignment. So I gave that video earlier this week, and if you go and look up, I think it's Clubhouse, his Clubhouse sessions, that's just promoting his new album, and I'm so proud of him. I'm so proud because he's Canadian, his beautiful soul. He's a beautiful, beautiful soul. But he's in his creative alignment. Some of the things that he's been going through is because he's awakening. So again, there's still some misinformation about what the things that he's been going through, but at least he's seeking, right? He's seeking and he's going on those spiritual journeys. So I'm so proud of him. But what he's been doing is he has been going through awakening, and some of the things that he's been explaining and expressing in his songs, he's sharing his spiritual journey through his songs, and that is spiritual alignment. When you see him in his songs, he is 100% in his soul's passion. He's in his true divine north. He's on his north node. Thank you for subscribing. So that just gives you an example. When somebody is that highly creative and they're tapped in and they're turned on and they're absolutely aligned with their soul's passion, that's what that looks like. Go watch his videos. That's what that looks like. There's a difference between somebody that gets us on stage and does what they do because they want to be famous, that does what they do and have the body operations because they want to look a certain way and they want to be seen as a certain way. There's nothing wrong with body operations. You have to understand why you're doing it, because there will be a point where your body is going to conk out on you and your body's going to have to be loved for the way the body is. The whole point of you having the body you're born with is to love the body you're born with. Whether that's transgender or transsexual, it doesn't matter. And then you're meant to move through whatever situations, you're meant to move through how you feel, you're meant to move through what you're being guided through, you're meant to move through it first within your psyche first, and then you sort out with your body how you feel. And if that's the case, you choose to go further with further operations, but at least you've done the psyche work first. You always do the psyche work first before you alter your body. Always. If you're not doing the psyche work, you're just going to get an operation. That psyche work will still come back. So again, as I said in my last video, it doesn't matter how many jobs you get on your body. a boob job, a ankle job, a dick job. It doesn't matter what you get done on your body. It's not resolving your psyche issue. Your psyche issue has to be healed first. Teachers, healers, and leaders of 5D will know this, and they will seek into the loving of thyself first. Right? And why I choose not to look like anybody. So I don't want to look like anybody else. I love being who I am. I love my little scars, and this is my dark night of the soul scar I had one day when they were throwing a whole bunch of hate magic at me and ugly magic at me. And I got a little bit of a scar there. Came all the way across my face like that. And at first I thought, oh, that doesn't look very good. Oh no, I got a big scar on my face, you know? And I said, no, I love my scars. Whatever's going to happen, I'm fully in alignment of my body. God's got me. I've got God. God and me are besties. God's going to lift me. And I'm just 100 in on God. My path is my path. My path has been my path. I've been truly honest, and I've been vulnerable, and I've been authentic from day one. I'm not going to stop being this way. I care about humanity. I care about Gaia. I care about the children moving in their highest benevolence because they have their birthright not to be touched. They have their birthright to not be treated like experiments. They have the right to be treated not like lab rats. They don't have the right to be treated like Truman shows where they're being stalked and followed every day, and they're being hacked, and they're being taken from and stolen from. They're being withheld from. They're not being given information. They're not being given money. They're not being given everything that their free will and their free rights have said is universally due to them. I am universally due my best life ever, and I'm living in absolutely poverty and homelessness. And the only reason why I eat is because of my 1 or 2 clients. How is that okay, world leaders that pay community, little cults and covens to attack me every day with sacrificing magic? They just did another sacrifice because of the full moon that just went by. And guess what, boys and girls and witches and warlocks and covens and warped masons and corrupt government leaders and corrupt MK Ultra and corrupt Project Stargate? Guess what? I'm still alive, and I'm still getting up. And you're going to keep getting karma until you stop doing what you're doing, until you give me my inheritance, and you give me what is mine, and you give me my birthright, and you give me my papers, and I get what's legally mine. Because it's beyond abhorrent, and everybody will be charged. I'm due what I'm due. I'm a divine being from the multiverse. I teach things that nobody else teaches on this planet, and I have the right to be exactly who I am. And those that force themselves in my lane, and those that force themselves on my platform for hate or derogatory or trying to get in my energy, or trying to send people to come and get me, or trying to send people to date me, or trying to send people to have sex with me, trying to send people to get in my energy and see what's coming next so you can beat me, so you can have one over on me, you can be misogynistically, dominating, and masochistically erasing of my life so that you want to feel better about yourself. Any of these attempts will be stopped by my ancestors, and you will be sat the fuck down. Because I'm not your problem, you are. You have a lot of wounding. You're being masochistic because that's your wounding. Misogynistic, that's your wounding. Power over others, that's your wounding. That's fear and that's separation. Go heal. I'm not your problem. I never was. I'm standing in my truth. I have the right to be who I am. I'm going to lift divine feminine. I'm going to lift the children. I'm going to lift humanity. I'm going to lift Gaia. I know who I am. I know my job, and I know my role. Spirit puts me through more tests than anybody could even handle. And those that are operating from lower vibrational experiences, you wouldn't be able to handle my vibration for a minute. You would go into psychosis. You would not be able to be me, because if all you're doing is caring about what you're going to take, rape, and get, you don't have the understanding, you don't have the comprehension, you don't have the awareness, you don't have the consciousness to go through an initiation of the ones of the likes that I just explained to you. You would not know what to do. Why? Because you're acting and you're behaving in your psyche break right now. You're acting and behaving insane, where obsessing over me and obsessing over my energy and obsessing to take me out and obsessing to take me down and obsessing to lie and obsessing to defame, rather than just do the right thing and heal. How about you just heal? That was the same message a long time ago. How about you just heal? Sit down and look at who you are. What are you stuck in? Where are the energies and what are you thinking about most of all? And put it on the table and heal your wounds. You are both divine feminine. You're both divine masculine. Who are you? Divine masculines, power over others, money and chasing money and thinking money and living money and having this as your main priority focus is not power. It's not power. Your soul is your power. How important is your soul's evolution? And those that are being shown every hour, those that are not in alignment, those that do not care about humanity or their collective or their planet, those that do not care about their body because they're involved in trafficking and they're involved in doing what they're doing, and they're going to do everything they can to remain innocent, and they're going to remain under the radar, and they're going to remain so that nobody knows who they are and what they've been doing. You will be seen in front of me. You will stand in front of somebody like me that will show you what truth is, and you will be given the same judgment everybody else has. The cult in Calgary is just an example, and God is going to pull this out as an example to the entire world of what happens when you refuse to sit down and heal and do what's right for your highest and your best. Your higher self would never guide you to what's being done right now on the planet. For the majority of our society, turning a blind eye to corruption, turning a blind eye to trafficking, turning a blind eye to everything that has been done to me in just one case, in one system, in one city, in one experience, in one life. This has been done and many people didn't make it. I was one of the ones that survived. And I'm very, very lucky. And I'm going to use my life story as my stage. I will not be used. I will not be handled. I will not be bought, traded, or sold, or bet on. And if you do, you're getting karma times 100, and everything that you think you feel is important will be blocked. Karma, 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 I have the right, and that is my ranking to call judgment on you. Nobody has a right to jack off to me. Nobody has a right to say who I'm going to be with and what I'm going to be, and they're going to have a right to say that they're going to claim me in the spiritual realm because they want to force their way into my life. You don't have a right. You're not going to claim me. You don't get to, because I have my choice of my free will, because it is my free will and it is my right use of free will. Nobody claims me. You're not going to use me. You're not going to bet and sell me, and you're not going to trade me to another coven. You will be getting karma tenfold. The ancestors and God are shutting everybody down. These dark occult practices must stop. It's abhorrent. It's 100% misguidance, 100% misinformation. You don't know what you're doing, and you will fall into demise. You cannot take a 5D master and put this energy and to put my understandings and to put my skills and my gifts and my talents that are initiated through the highest and the best so that nobody is hurt and nobody is harmed. That's why I'm initiated. I don't do magic. I never have done magic. I'm a white witch, if you will, and that is honoring energy elementally through the elements, through Gaia, through nature, through sound, through alchemy. That's honoring of the energy. You don't have to use magic. You don't use it. I know how to if I have to. That's what my initiations were. And I didn't. I chose not to. I chose to go another route. I chose to be 10 steps ahead of you vibrationally with light intelligence because I know how to be a better leader. And you can choose to as well. That's what I teach and I offer, but you're going to pay for it. You're going to have private sessions because I deserve to be paid for my wisdoms and my intelligence. I deserve to be paid for my expertise. And I'm stating it. And if you have issues where you're putting Divine Feminine down in the collective, and you're having issues with Divine Feminine, you're putting her through the ropes and you're sabotaging her 100 times for her to get the same role that a man does, shame on you. Grow up and get healed. These discriminations have to be looked at on every level. How we treat children, how we treat life, how we treat sacred life, and who we know as God. God is the omnipresent, and God's going to place me before everybody that has those types of attitudes. And it's just for me to be your mirror. That's it. I don't use magic. I don't do magic. I would never do magic. It's a waste of my time. I'd rather be sitting talking to insects and helping them move over to the little grass because that's who I am. And you've had all these important people wasting their time sitting in parking lots watching me and stalking me. Illegal, 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 illegal. See you in criminal court. I'll wrap circles around you. Next. So next time you create an ultra human, you better bet that that person's going to climb up one day and say, I don't want to be controlled. I'm not going to be weaponized. I'm not going to be your little weapon, little dark ass minion. I'm not going to go off to your Epstein Earth, and you're not going to use me. You're not going to traffic me. You're not going to bid me. You're not going to bet me. You're not going to sell me. You're not going to use me as a weapon for your benefit and your gain. How dare you? There will be no nuclear war. There's going to be no more chemtrails. There's going to be no more trafficking. Grow up, people. Get healed. This is the new garden. It's not needed. None of it is needed. It's called higher consciousness. Because if you know who you are, if you're aligned with your higher self, these things are not necessary. It's just not necessary. Get healed. Because when you're in higher consciousness, say, oh yeah, wow, I could have seen that from 8 million different perspectives. I could have gone 18 different routes. You never, ever have to take or hurt from anybody. Ever, 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 ever. And anybody that is in church and state that has been doing so, you will absolutely ensure that you will get the karma on the highest level. And the wrath of God will be felt. because you knew better and you chose not to. You knew better. We talk about it every video and you choose not to. I'll upload my video today and we'll see how many videos get pilfered. We'll see how many messing of my upload dates are messed with. We'll see how many views are being taken away and where are they going to. Anybody that would like to donate, I would honor and thank you very much for your donations. I'm rebuilding my life until the monies get rewired back to me and the monies get actually rerouted back to where it should be in its benevolent hands for benevolent systems of healing, teaching, and leading. And again, all of this is free will. I'm here as a vibrational coach. I'm here as a vibrational activator. I'm here as a vibrational conduit for the source creator, for the divine plan of humanity's ascension. We are moving through ascension. It's not going to stop. Quantum law is the way quantum law is. God is life and life is God. We're moving beyond church and state beliefs and mentalities. You can choose to do and be and act and behave however you want. Your life will show you based on the basic quantum energies that I have shown you. It will either be negative, it will be neutral, or it will be positive. You choose. Your body will fall in line with whatever you choose, positive, negative, or neutral. You have sovereignty. You are godly. I love each and every one of you. I'm standing in the power of who I am and the professional, divine essence. I wanted to talk about fashion. I put on some really great links this morning because I love fashion. I love color. I love textures. I just love getting my hands in fashion and color and all of those things. Getting in your closet and organizing, doing donations every season is really important for those women. There's lots of women's shelters that are just getting reworked back into integrating themselves from abusive homes back into the workforce. So please donate to women's shelters. I know that many of my clients do. So I'm so grateful for my clients. You're such beautiful, beautiful souls. I'm so lucky to have you been on my path and my journey with me. So please clear out your closet. It is the first day of summer right now. So again, think about the feast that you're having. Have those people in that support you on your journey, that will lift you up on your journey and give equally. If they're not giving equally, you need to look at every one of your relationships and you need to start being this loving commander of creating better relationships. If you are not being given to equally, if it's nothing but drama and chaos, you need to move yourself away or not. It's up to you, free will. But just know that those are taking more and more of your energies and they are corrupting more and more of your energies. And that's sometimes they're sent to you as that's their job so that you can be tested into standing more and more in your power. Because the more and more in your power you're standing, you're knowing that, you're not going to be swayed either way. You want to maintain your alignment with source creator, your higher self, and you're not going to be, taken anywhere else. So that's always a benefit too, because you need those catalysts. You need those catalyst experiences. So again, if you need sessions, ascension sessions, healing sessions, activation sessions, vocational alignment sessions for businesses, or if you're a practitioner or if you're a healer and you want to move up to the next level, all of those sessions are held within my vocational alignment sessions. I usually do four sessions because we go through every part of the body. Thank you, my sweetheart. Thank you, Cluedo. I want to say to Cluedo as well, Cluedo has been with me from the very, very beginning, and she's come so far in her stuff. So I'm hoping that we're going to get Cluedo as well as a vibrational teacher in her art too. So I've got lots of big plans coming down the road for the highest vibrational creative earth. I'm so excited. So please keep up your creativities because it's how you activate your 3 E's. It's how you activate your celestial gifts and your skills and your clairsentience, clairaudience, clairtangence, clairaugustance, all of those clairs, and there's a lot more. The celestials and energies of the aliens. So we just want to give one more thing quickly because the next people haven't come yet into the room, so I wanted to get a little bit more in. There is lots of celestial energies. Lots of celestial energies. This is how I'm high functioning, so I'm always doing like 2 or 3 things at once. I need a personal assistant once I get my resources so that I can really get moving on all the things I really want to create. So the celestials, we're just going to do a quick little channel until the people knock at the door. Because there has been some celestials that have been with you in your homes because we're preparing ourselves, right? So as I was doing my notes, I didn't have time to talk about them. I always do that. I always get off track. They wanted to talk with you and they wanted just to let you know that they're with you in the house. So I'm just going to go into a quick little channel because there was a couple of them that wanted to talk to you because they knew you were going to be online today because they knew I was going to do a video today. And this is, of course, now and future now moments. You could be listening to this video next week, but it's still resonant, right? Because it's all now. That's the Christ conscious, it's all now. Thank you. I want to look into designing some hats too. I know where to get hats anyways, because the people I used to style for, they had really nice hats. So is I mean, for women, right? Women that want to stay young and vibrant and hip, they can wear it with jeans and they can wear it with dressier clothes, right? But it's not usual where you can find a store or a designer that has a variety of hats that are kind of nice and kind of the moment. So I really do like hats. I love hats, but I know where to shop for them, so it's really fun. Um, I love fashion. I love fashion and beauty, so I'm really excited. Okay, so let's do this. Okay, celestials. So just sweep up, so have a straight back. We're going to teach you how to clear and cleanse. Just do a quick clearing, quick cleansing. You're going to connect with your higher self to just sweep up from the center of your being. So everything is on your spine, right? We want to always focus you on going to the center of you, the center of you, the center of you. There's a white light, and it's a pillar of light that goes all the way up to creation, all the way up to the 13th dimension. And it's a pillar of white crystalline light. And it's what all your chakras spin around this pillar of light. And your chakras are spinning around the pillar of light, and the pillar of light through your loving command, we're going to pour in Christ consciousness, light, and love. The highest crystalline light is going to pour into this crystalline tube that runs along your spine, and it operates the whole light body. It operates within your Merkaba. And as your chakras are ready to activate, and as your chakras are ready to release purging, and as your chakras are ready to release density or wounds or injuries or low vibrational densities, and it's not operating to its maximum, your chakras will not oscillate at all. So we want to teach you to focus on getting in touch with your chakras. I suggest doing 2 chakras a week. Work on 2 chakras a week, starting from the bottom and going up. So that's what I suggest when you're starting to get used to your chakras. Open up your chakras, work with one at a time, pouring crystalline light and seeing its beautiful, vibrant color: red, orange, yellow, blue, green, peach, pink. That's all the heart chakras. That's all the heart chakra colors, because your high heart and your lower heart. And your throat chakra is lapis blue. That's the color that I've got on that's lapis right there. That's the heart chakra, or the throat chakra. And your third eye is indigo, and your crown chakra is violet. My hair. And then the soul star chakra is gold. And the earth star chakra, which is below your feet, and that's silver. It operates from the divine feminine at the bottom going into the earth. And the divine Ra, the father sun, goes up. And so those are all your chakras. Of course, there's many more. There's 13, right? We're going to focus on just the ones we've been given right now, which is 9. Because we have access to 9 dimensions right now. So those are the chakras that are coming in. And we have our earth star and our soul star chakras. Our earth star and our soul star chakras are preparing us for what we have access to in the information in our chakras. So the information is in our chakras. If we're not working with our chakras and we're not allowing that chakra to spin and spiral, we're not getting that information. We're not being higher conscious beings. So there's lots of information and stories that are stored in your chakras. It's really important that we heal our chakras every day. We work with our chakras every day, because then you can have access to the higher conscious states of who you are. You have access to the multi-vibrational being that you are. You have access to the highest Christ conscious being that you are. You have the highest access to the harmonization of who you are, your higher self. So just sweep up. I have one hand that always faces up because I'm getting the light codes down. When you have your palms facing up, that means you're receiving. Okay, when your palms are up, that means you're receiving. That's a mudra for receiving. So you have one palm up, and it's usually one palm down when you're working with Gaia energies and earth energies, and that's working with Reiki. So I'm just giving you as a Reiki instruction. This is what I do. And I just sweep up from the center of my root chakra, and I sweep up. And I'm getting the light from my body. I'm visualizing light being bathed. Visualize light being bathed throughout my whole Merkaba, throughout my 8-foot fields. I'm being bathed with white crystalline light. I'm being bathed with the violet flame, and I call in Archangel Saint Germain, Lord Saint Germain, and Lady Amethyst, and my healing teams, Archangel Michael, and my healing guides, and my celestials, and my ancestors, and the Mother, Father, God, and my higher self. I'm calling in my teams. Take a deep breath. Breathe up, breathe up. Whole cavity, big breath lifts your whole cavity up. You're filling up your cavity with light. You're filling up your cavity with light, and just sweep up throughout your whole field. Pretend that you're moving all the way up, just like a vacuum, right? You're moving up to the whole 8-foot field, and just sweep up and sweep all the densities away. Visualize you're just sweeping densities away. You're sweeping out the hate or spells. You're just sweeping them away. Because as you focus on light, the densities just go. It just evaporates. The more light you are, it just evaporates. The darkness can't touch you. So then you're going to see from your root chakra up, and you're just going to cut. Your hand is just being used as a scissor. You're just cutting from the root. You're cutting from the sacral. You're cutting all these cords and energies that people have tried to attach to you through negative attachments, through codependent attachments, through trauma bonding, all of those things. And especially if you've been sexually abused and you haven't healed those wounds, there's going to be cords in those lower chakras that you have to heal. That's why I say work on 2 chakras a week, because you need that. You have to give yourself time to process those traumas. And of course, in deeper traumas, it's going to take a lot longer. That's why people like myself have been on the planet to assist those children that are coming up from trafficking, and beings like myself that have been abused through magic and spell work and dark occult and government systematic abuse programs. It is a psychological abuse, and you have to go in through and heal it, because 3D healers don't understand multidimensional traumas and multidimensional systematic abuse, because nobody's talking about dark occult abuse, and it happens every day. So speak out about the dark occult abuses. It affects your chakras, it affects your fields, it affects your psyche, it affects your emotional body, it affects your mental body. And that's why people are going through the breakdown of their mental bodies right now, and they're going insane, because their black magic is now, it's now backfiring, and they have to know what they've done to others. And so just keep sweeping up and just keep bathing yourself with higher light, and see your teams bathing white light and crystalline light. And it can be whatever color you want. It might be a beautiful green. It might be a violet flame, burning away any density. Keep breathing in, breathe in light, breathe in light, breathe in light. Ground yourself, ground yourself. The higher you go, the more grounded you'll have to feel. So feel a cord that's going from your sacral all the way down to the earth. Have your ancestors assist you in grounding. Those of you that work with sound and light language and music, you can use your voice to clear and cleanse your fields as well, just by giving different sounds like im, kaya, naya. You'll just intuitively know what sounds to work with. That was a solar plexus. There's some solar plexus clearing that we're doing. Taking a deep breath, clear out any solar plexus issue. It's your I am presence. So anybody that's telling you who you are, you say, no, I know who I am. And you make your own I am presence. I am one with the Holy Creator. I'm divine feminine, divine masculine. I am the highest creative consciousness being as I am. I am aligned with highest Christ consciousness. I am aligned with my higher self. Your I am statements are so important every day. I am healthy. I'm aligned with my highest light timeline. It's up to me, and I'm responsible for creating the highest light in my body, heart, mind, and soul. I am both crystalline and I'm both carbon. I am both celestial and alien, angelic, and I'm human. I care about my planet, I care about my collective, and I know that I'll be given the right information and the synchronicities through the Divine Father and the Divine Mother, through my higher self, and through all that is spirit and all that is light. I ask light to come in and work with me every day. I engage with light every day, physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. I am that I am. Thank you, dear lighted ones. So there was a being here that it's a gray, and there's also light zetas that are with you when you're sleeping. I see the being that's on my right side. So if you're laying down on your bed, it's going to be on your right. This is my right. And so the being is just standing beside your bed. I see the being standing beside your bed, and it looks like a female that this being is next to. And the being just sits there and just stares at you. And, we might think it's creepy, but it's to them, they just love you. And because you have been a part of helping them evolve into honoring their Christ consciousness and becoming back into their crystalline light. So they're a part of your soul family. They're going to be a part of your first contact team. So if you reach out to them, I see you reaching out to them. And just, if you're going to fall asleep at night, place your hand on your heart. And this is how you respectfully, we're going to talk about in my next video, how to respectfully communicate with spirit. Because again, most of our planet has not been informed, and they're abusing information, they're abusing wisdom, they're abusing energy, they're abusing spirit, they're abusing energy practices. There's so much abuse on our planet, so much misinformation. So just hold your hand up, because that's always receiving. And your hand on your heart means you're respecting Divine Mother and Divine Father and all that you are as spirit and all that you are as heart, mind, body, and soul. You're more spiritually aligned, more soulfully aligned. And you just say before you go to sleep, I'd like to have contact with my celestial first contact families. Whether you come to me in a dream, my higher self will determine and assist me. If you choose to come into my room, please present yourself as a beautiful waft of warm air or cold air, however your body wants to receive it. And I would love to see you as a big smile or happiness and a hug, and I'm holding my hand out for you to communicate with me. And they may touch you, they may just put their hand on top of yours, and you'll feel the vibration. So you'll feel a cold little waft, or you'll feel a little vibration in your hands, because your hands are your heart chakras as well. And so just ask your teams to be honoring with you. And then there's those of you that have still traumas about your celestial and alien families because you have a lot of healing that you have not done, and that's okay. Here's your starting. So if you have fears like that and it freaks you out to talk about celestials and aliens and first contact, and if to think of that there's beings in the room with you because they're remaining invisible until you're ready to accept them for first contact, if that still freaks you out and you still have resistance and you still have judgments and discriminations, then start working on those and call those energies out, because they're, again, memories that are in that 51% of your karma, injuries and wounds as psyche experiences. That you need to clear out. They're with you as your first contact team. They're with you as your celestials. They're with you as your family. They're with you as loved ones. So they're even showing me somebody right now. These are for those of you that will be going into mediumship, like myself. It's a collective mediumship. For those that have passed on, there is a little boy that comes to visit you in your home. And there's a little boy present because the little boy wants to speak through you, part of your mediumship skills. And they're showing me this is a woman in her middle ages that can start working on your mediumship skills. He says that you know that you're a medium, but you have been kind of pushing it to the back burner. So you're going into the cupboard right now. The little boy's showing me that you're going into the kitchen and going into the cupboard because you're not facing who you are. And that's okay, but start working with it. Sometimes when we go off and we do tasks, when we're listening to programs like the mine, and you're going off and you're doing tasks, that's a message for you, but your ego self is distracting you to not face who you are as spirit. And that's just a normal process of just reintegrating yourself. So when you feel yourself doing tasks, getting up and doing housework, getting up and doing things, or going to eat, those things, just call that energy back in and just say, no, I'm going to face this. I am a medium. I do have special gifts. I know that I can see spirit and speak with spirit. Let's deal with this. Let's start working with this in a fun way. So you reintegrate it as fun and joy and love because it's who you are. You have lifetimes where you were ostracized, where you were negatively impacted and you were negatively influenced. It has nothing to do with being evil. Again, I gave you many examples and stories of those that say they're righteous and those are the ones that ostracize, and those are the ones that pay spiritual hitmen to come and take you out. So again, who's the demon in this story? People are projecting their woundings. People are projecting where they're not whole. People are projecting where they're at in their consciousness level. We are meant to be higher vibrational, psychic, intuitive beings. That's just a normal aspect of who we are as higher vibrational beings. Pleiadians are 100% telepathic from 5D and up. All Pleiadians. I can communicate with a Pleiadian right now, my bird family right now. I can communicate with the unicornians right now. I can communicate with the Lyrans right now. The felines. Thank you. I can communicate with the cetaceans. I had a beautiful cetacean connection this week. Beautiful, beautiful cetacean connection. I love the cetaceans. Thank you, cetaceans. And it's all telepathic. We're going to go through in our next video, we're going to talk about rules and basic rules and understanding so that you're doing it in a safe and honoring way and you're in alignment with the universal laws, right? Use of free will and non-interference. You don't go and telepathically force your way into people's paths and people's private time and people's dream time. You do not do that. The people from the cult that I came from, that they did that every day relentlessly, and they took shifts doing it. That's the MK Ultra, where they have agendas, and they just go down the little checklist of different things that they enforce and they impale on your mental body and your psychic body. And they just keep doing it and keep doing it and keep doing it until they get what they want, until they break you psychotically. That's their intention. It's called the slow dagger. So those are abusive situations. You need to talk about that. If you're being constantly impaled in your dream time sexually, if you're being impaled of having gay thoughts when you were never really gay, you've always been heterosexual, you've always known who you were sexually, and those types of things, there's been a lot of that go on in the collective. There's been a lot, and some of that's normal, but how it is in a normal situation is not constant and relentless. That's how you know it's a program or an agenda. If it's constant and relentless day after day after day after day after day after day, that's how you know it's being done by a cult or coven. If it's a normal ascension process and you're meant to look at divine feminine, divine masculine, equally and sexually, like every human will, every human will go through an aspect of their soul's growth to look at their same sex in a sexual way. They have to heal those energies and release discrimination. So that's normal for everybody. That's a normal ascension process. Normal. Because we are going to be translateral. We're going to be moving back and forth between divine feminine, divine masculine, honoring and understanding and making decisions. Sometimes you're going to have to make a decision from your divine feminine perspective. That's where divine masculines need to heal. They need to be better leaders. Divine masculines cannot be better leaders unless they're healing their divine feminine energies and seeing divine feminine as equal. We will not be owned. We're not going to be handled. Neither will the children. Neither will nature. So this is where we have to get it right. Those people that are doing mad scientist experiments and the cloning, they're not in alignment with divine order, natural order. So again, they're going to fail. Again, vocational alignment. You're wasting a lot of money, you're wasting a lot of time, you're wasting a lot of energy, but they don't care because they've told them all of these things that are unfolding right now. All of the predictions are coming true. So then God says, well, how much are you going to bang your head against the wall until there's nothing left? Okay, that's your choice. That's your free will. So here it comes. Here's your tower. We've kind of made it very easy for you. But again, ego and arrogance, that's how you know they're entity attached. And they're so obsessed with getting, taking, having, dominating power. They're completely delusional. They've separated from common sense. That's how you know it's not healed. And these are very dangerous situations, and the city and the leaders will be accountable for it. So anyways, this little boy is telling you that you have mediumship experiences. So I'm just giving you, when you find yourself distracting yourself and doing housework and doing things like that, when you can be sitting down and working with spirit, that's just showing you that you have a gift and you have energies there that you need to face and you need to integrate. So just integrate it, integrate those energies. That's doing the path work. And if you want a session, just book it with me. So the little boy has some stories the little boy wants to share with you. So I'm asking you, each and every one of you, just take a deep breath. Call all of your energy in. I call all energy, all light. I call it into my heart center, my higher self, and all soul fragments and all soul aspects of me, in my name, in my soul, in my light, in my energy. I call it all back to my divine sacred heart. Place your hand on your heart. I'm aligned with my higher self. I'm asking my guides. I'm asking my teams. I'm asking Lord Michael and the angels of protection to clear and cleanse and align me with any gifts, skills, and talents, any visions, any memories, any sounds, any entity beings that I can sense or feel or know, my clairs. I want a clair experience right now through my teams, with respect, of the highest being that would like to connect and contact me through sound, smell, sight, knowing, your third eye. I'm asking this experience to come through now. And over the next 24 hours, I commit to myself to take out my journal and to log my findings and to commit my relationship and alignment with spirit. I wish to engage with spirit in a deeper way. And these are your commandments. So just practice working this every day. Every day work with your commandmentship with spirit. And some days you're going to get a hearing. Some days you're going to get a clear knowing where you feel it in the belly. That's your solar plexus. You're going to feel it in your belly. Oh no, I know this. I know what I know. People always say, well, how do you know what I know? I just know what I know. God gives me the imprint. God presses upon me, and I know. When I say a source channel, I'm usually given it in a vision because I have many of my clairs active. I've been working on my clairs for a long time, since I was born. I had it shut down for a long time. But many of you have come here with your clairs already active because you are crystalline and indigo children. And your light language will help you working with your clairs too, because your light language clears out densities in your multidimensional fields, your chakras, and your causal field, your vibrational celestial field. There are some energies that need to be cleared from the causal field of some of the clients that are online right now. Your causal field is those energies of negative, misinformed, misguided experiences with energies of your celestials and your aliens. So those have to be cleared for you to create that full communion before first contact. That's just first protocol. Your teams are going to help you work through first protocol to make sure you're going to be prepared for their energy, because their energy is like mine to those that, are living in hate. My is a pure resonance. I live from pure truth. So anybody that's not in pure truth, they will get triggered. If I live in pure truth, thought, word, and deed, as best as I can every moment, every day, this is who I am. There's no pretending, there's no veils, there's no manipulations, there's no lies. I am truth. Therefore, those that are not living in truth will be triggered, because that's the role. That's where God places it. You have things you need to face. So face it if you so choose. If you don't, you're still going to hit the same tower moments. You're going to have the same tower moments come to you. You're going to get up and still do the same addictive patterns. When you reach out, you should be going within. Whether it's housework, whether it's drugs, whether it's spell work, whether it's drinking, it doesn't matter what that addictive pattern is. Go within. So notice and be very aware. That's called being consciously awake and aware. Consciously be awake and aware when your spirit and when your body and when your lower mind, your lower ego has you go and doing things outside of yourself. When you reach out, go within and stop yourself and say, no, I'm going to go within. I'm going to face this today. I know I have many gifts. I know I'm psychic. Let's get to the bottom of these fears and just say, I release these fears. I'm asking spirit. I'm asking my higher self, I'm asking Mother, Father, God, I'm really excited to work with my spiritual gifts. I'm really excited to find out who I am as a medium. I'm really excited to feel who I am as a psychic person so I can help humanity, I can help my family. I know that because when you help yourself and you help your soul in this way, you're giving permission for your children and those that run behind you in generation experiences. You're clearing out those lineage curses and hexes where it was negative or it was impaled upon you in an ostracized way that it wasn't okay and it was demonized. It's not demon at all. It's who you are as a high vibrational being. As I said, from 5D and up, from 5D to 13 dimension, we're all telepathic and we're all psychic. And you move things with your mind and you create things with your mind. It's right from thought. But we have to be healed first. Somebody that is working from a wounding position, we're seeing the cults and the covens where they want to manifest through other people and through forcing and through cheating and through doing it the fast way. And they're taking people's stuff and they're taking people's work and they're copying and they're cheating. They want to fast track to ascension. You can't fake ascension. You can't fake consciousness. You either are consciously awake or you're not. And every new ascension cycle, you're a new percentage of consciousness. That's how your teams and your guides and your higher self knows when to activate that DNA. If your DNA has not been activated, you will never earn that level of consciousness. 31%, 41%, 51%. 51% is when your body harmonizes with your light body and your higher self and your Merkaba is fully activated. That's when you've done your 51% of your karmic soul fragments that you've healed. Divine feminine, divine masculine related. It's a very precise system. You can't, nothing gets missed. You can't hop on the bandwagon and say, I'm going to be 5D now. No, you actually have to go through the 51%. You have to know what that soul fragment had to do with and why. Where was the wounding and why? You need to know yourself. So this is what I teach. So go within and anytime you feel those triggers coming, anytime you feel yourself wanting to be distracted, if you're being distracted most of your day, you don't know who you are. So make time every day. It's really important. The beginning of the day and the end of every day, get reconnected with yourself. Reconnect with spirit because you're godly. You cannot be godly if you're not knowing yourself and feeling yourself and engaging yourself and being in a relationship with yourself as godly. You can't just say you're godly. You have to build that relationship. And that's through thought, word, deed, and spirit. And love yourself and honor yourself. Spend the time getting yourself healed. Reconnect with spirit. Every chakra. And you're just going to start remembering things you've done in other lifetimes. You're going to start remembering things you did as a shaman. You're going to start remembering and activating these things. That's why loving yourself is so important. Loving yourself and doing all of these beautiful things every day. It's reconnecting that relationship of your shamanistic skills or your outer planetary skills, right? So there's one being that wants to come down. There's galactic federations. Thank you, Holy Spirit. Galactic federations are coming down, so angelic beings with wings, or they could be known as the bird people too. I always call them the bird people. Are they angelics or bird people? They're both. Thank you, Holy Spirit. There are systems from the Pleiades and the Lyra system. There's many species in the Lyra and the Pleiades systems where they're humanoid and other creatures and other species because that's what they choose to create themselves as because they love flying and they love being human, right? So they can manifest themselves in whatever body they want because of their consciousness. There's no wounding there. There's no judgment. There's no discrimination. There's no separation. They can manifest themselves into a body of whatever they want. That's liberation. That's God's gift. God says, I'm giving you the consciousness of everything. So again, how could we demonize that? Say, oh, that's a demon. They're a bird person. That's, again, you've got wounding, right? It's like saying dogs are better than cats or cats are better than dogs. That's wounding. Oneness is oneness. So these beings are coming down. Thank you, Holy Spirit. Off-world experiences, you're going to remember them in your dreams. Like I said, they had that vision today of the Celestials being beside the bed. And they're walking with you in your room. You're going to feel those energies more and more with you every day. And because those of you that have been on the path for a while, those of you who have been my clients for a while, you're going to starting to have more and more celestial experiences every day. So just ask for them. Say, I'd like to be in more conscious awakeness. So what you're doing is that because you've been so used to the 3D experiences and we've been waiting for first contact for so long, you're going to start to feel these new shifting of what they call it, cross-sections of timelines. The celestial energies will be more and more prevalent because the veils are being removed. So you've released those densities and you're not afraid of it anymore. So just feel for those celestial energies and you will feel it. Your body will get all goosebumpy and you'll feel little people around you. That's how I feel. I feel little people around me all the time. And a lot of them are my celestial children because I'm a surrogate mother for the hybrid systems. That's part of my role in the galaxy for Mother Father, is I'm a surrogate mother for all the hybrid children, because they don't have, a lot of them don't have mothers, right? Because they come from other systems that are trying to renew their Christ consciousness in their various hybrid programs. And they're very specific programs. It's not like an earthly 3D program where they just go to a laboratory and they put a whole bunch of things in a petri dish. There's a difference because it's done through intention. Again, your direction, intention, focus. Anyways, so I'm a surrogate mother. So I'm really excited about all my celestial children. I love you, celestial children. I love you, celestial children. So they're showing me just be discerning about what you're hearing in your collective about weapons of mass destruction and things like that. A lot of these things are going to be distraction because they know humanity's moving forward. These are just distractions to get you more in fear, because the more in fear that you are, the easier you are to control. So just know that. Just pay it again, align with your higher self and just keep moving on your highest creative timeline. Highest creative timeline, and have your higher self direct and guide you into the highest benevolent, positive manner so that you're not paying attention to the matrix. And release yourself from people that do, or the people that create chaos and trauma, and they want to trauma bond you, and they want to keep you around because it's easy for them to feed off your energy. Elite soul harvesting is very real. I've been talking about that. Go back to my videos. So there's these things that are going to come out. So Spirit and Source will show the collective. The messages come out through my channel of those that have been arrested in various human targeting and human hunting programs, MK Ultra, of such of the like. And balances and justices will be made for those people that have been through such sabotaging and human experiences that have been inhumane against their human rights and their human free will. We're here to liberate and align with the highest versions of higher order, universal laws, and the human rights that are actually accounted for. People in the judicial system and policing system to be accountable for the rights and the oaths that they take. And everybody will be experiencing karma, because that's the only way people sit down and actually think of, okay, well, who am I? What am I going? What's going on in my life right now? And how can I recorrect and alter course? Again, you have to do your own work. You're not going to get given ascension. It's not going to be you can't take a pill. You can't fast track your way there. You actually need to understand consciousness, and it's an earned experience. Consciousness is earned through every healing. Consciousness is earned through every moment you create oneness with all life. Consciousness is earned. You cannot scapegoat. You cannot cheat. You cannot jump. You cannot force. You cannot bind. You cannot swap. You cannot destiny. You cannot hex, spell. You cannot do any of these things for ascension. You just cannot. You will go into psychosis. You have not earned the consciousness to be in the body or the benevolent energy of someone like me. You have not been through the initiations. You do not know. Why? Because you're still cycling on selfishness and greed and gluttony. That's how you know you're not healed. You cannot carry my consciousness and why God has separated you. These are truths. Or you can keep wasting your time and your money and spending spiritual hitmen and doing all the egregious things that you do, and you will still remain in the same place. You will still get your towers. You will still be diseased. You will still be psychosis, and you will still be in hell. Or you can just choose to heal. These are the truths, dear lighted ones, and we're going to keep saying the same thing every day, because ascension is a process. Who are you? Consciousness is earned. And it is the quickening of spirit. That is what consciousness is. It is seeing yourself in all life. Consciousness is the I am presence. I am present with all that is life. It is the I am of God. Life is God and God is life. Therefore, thus then, your consciousness is all life. The flowers are you. The trees are you. The ocean is you. The cetaceans are you. The children are you. So why would you abuse the children? Why would you not heed them? Why would you not listen to them? If they say no, it means no. Get your hands off them. If a divine feminine says that she is going to be a great leader, why not let her? Why not allow her? What is it to you? Stay in your lane. Creation is infinitely abundant. Stay in your business. And if you're attacking and targeting and silencing, you're not godly. You are very wounded. These are very basic things, and everybody is awakening. Consciousness is earned. Consciousness is earned. Every person, every human on this planet can choose or not choose. 51% of your karma is your responsibility. You are responsible for your reality. You're responsible for the corruption that goes on in your reality. You're not fully responsible, but if you know what's happening and you don't do anything, you're saying that you're okay to be on a corrupt planet. Therefore, that's the reality you're agreeing to. That's how you create reality, dear lighted ones. And when you get to 5D, you're going to be creating every moment from thought. So if you're allowing corruption, you're saying that that's okay. You're normalizing yourself to it. So you cannot complain. You can't complain if all you do is spell work and hate work and sacrificing and black magic on people and trying to enforce them with your sex magic and jacking off to them every 5 minutes because you want them in your life and they said no. You're going to get that karma backfire because you don't have the right to treat people's energy and soul and spirit the way you've been treating it when you've been told no 8 million times. I have my rights. I want my money. I want what was stolen. I want my birth information. I have my universal rights. Nobody had a legal ounce to touch my soul in any way. And it was done over hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and thousands of times. And I'm one example of the children that get treated like this every day. No more. This is a new garden. You're going to earn your consciousness or you will be moved. It is that simple. Church and state ain't going to save you. They just won't. They've chosen not to take the route of integration. And until they do, every one of them will get karma and they will be stopped and sabotaged as they have done me and all these children. And everybody else that they use as a black minion. Speak out against your secret society abuses. Whether you're being paid for hits, whatever your story is, wherever you choose to take your path, you're choosing to be redemption or not. These are the spiritual higher truths and higher orders. Believe it or not, I don't care. I'm telling you, if you want to alter course and move into eternal life, this is what you must do. There are higher spiritual order laws. If you're being provoked and you're being preemptive and you're being told and shown in every way that you have to make right with somebody and you have to give them back the money you stole, then you're meant to do that. Give them back the money that you stole. And it doesn't mean that they're going to sit and be a partner with you and live in the same house as you because you stole the money. You shouldn't have stole the money, and they're going to live in their life the way they want to live in their life. You don't have any right to say, here's your money, but you got to come live with me. That's blackmail, that's enslavement. No, keep your money. Then you're going to see the same karma, the same story, the same towers, the same sabotage, because you're choosing to use it as a blackmail token. That's a backwards deal. No, you stole the money, it was mine, you never had any legal right touching it. Therefore, I'll just take you to court and I'll sue you. And you go to jail and that's what you'll be known for. So go about whatever way you want. You're either going to redeem yourself, you're going to make right on the deeds you have done, or you're going to go about the long way and you're still going to end up in the same place because your soul has not worked through the density and the pain and the trauma and the suffering and the PTSD and the everyday crying and the being homeless and being all of these things that I have had to put up with. I've had to put up with and I carry the weight of all of these things, and nobody cares about what I go through every day. Nobody cares about what I go through because of their hate, because of their lies, because of their defamation, because of their false claims, because of their sabotaging my finances, because of their lying on every level of my experience. They don't care. They don't care what they have done to destroy life and to make me go away and disappear. The only reason why I'm getting any level of justice is absolutely the hand of God. God himself has had to create a correction. And that is sad. When all I have done is give unconditionally to every single person since the day being here. And I had the right to walk away from somebody that was lying to me and creating a secret life of themselves while they were doing egregious things in the underground and not having any consideration to the family that this person said that they held loyalty to. I had the right to walk away from that person that was causing me pain and damage every day. That was my legal right. And I'm going to keep walking away from abusers. You don't think that I know. I know everything. I see everything God shows me. You've been stealing from me for a very long time, Calgary, and everybody involved all the way up to the governments. You owe me. Therefore, thus then, let the karma begin. We say, thank you, Holy Creator and the Holy Spirit. Have these conversations with Spirit. If there's something going on in your life that needs to be changed, have the conversations as we just say, Divine Holy Creator, I'd like these energies to move on. I've learned my lessons. I've done everything. I've said everything. I've been as kind and as beautiful as possible. I've given them teachings. I've given them healings. I've given everything in my possible power. These contracts have to end. You're not meant to put up with abusive contracts because they want to keep taking from you and they want to keep abusing you. This is not okay. Abuse is not okay. Stop the abuse, people. People should not be in leadership if they are allowing abuse to continue, and they are doing the abuse, they are inciting abuse, and they are citing secret agendas that hurt celestials, that hurt aliens, that hurt sacred life, that hurt children, that hurt animals, that hurt the land, that hurt the air. This is very basic. Sacred Trinity, directed from the heaven in your higher self, they would never, ever give you any instruction to hurt anybody, ever. That's how you know these agendas are egregious. The heavens would never guide you into anything that has been done to me, ever. They're not aligned, they're disconnected. They have their own private agendas, and they either choose to make right or they won't, and they'll get karma. There are some that are working on the right side of justice. Bring forward your findings. Gaia and your collective. That's what your sacred blueprint is. From here on out, dear lighted ones, right use of free will and non-interference and the law of balance. They're very important laws. Get to know your universal laws. Work with your teams every day. We love you. We love you. We love you. We love you. We love you so much. Please book a session, book an appointment. We're going to upload this video in a few minutes. Go take a look at it. Share our videos. Share our content. We appreciate you. We love you. We love you. We love you. I love you. Start working with your teams every day. Calling your higher self every minute of every day. Your higher self loves you. Your higher self is your godliness. We love you so very much. I'm looking forward to collaborations for New Earth Star. Go back to our videos, get extra learnings and teachings, and then do your journal work, do your Ascension Daily Path work. You're going to connect with Spirit. You're going to align with Spirit. You're going to create a new relationship with Spirit. You're going to do engagement with Spirit. You are aligned with all that is creation and your celestial families and your alien families and Mother, Father, God, and the angels and the celestials, and Gaia loves you so very much. We love you, we love you, we love you. And thank you to my beautiful, beautiful clients that have donated whatever they can. You are beautiful, beautiful, beautiful rainbows in my life, and I love you so very much. Thank you, dear lighted ones. My PayPal and the instructions on how to get to me is within all my videos. It's on all of my YouTube platforms and my YouTube post pages. We thank you for sharing our work, and we love you so very much. Work with your teams every day and your gifts. Work with your gifts, work with your gifts. And happy summer. We love you, dear lighted ones. Bye, we love you.